Welcome to the Kingdom of Rin campaign. I'm Mercy, your Dungeon Master at HereThereBeMonsters, and this is episode 5. The Kingdom of Rin is a Dungeons & Dragons version 3.5 campaign, and we started at a low level. The characters are currently level 1. The kingdom is under attack, and the party is here to help. The party has been tracking down a tribe of goblins that has been in the woods outside the town of Capstone that you can see here. Right below me. That is my beautiful wife and also one of our players, Skabash. She plays a rogue here in the campaign. So, the kingdom is under attack right now from goblins from the north and orcs from the south near the town of Capstone right below us. The party is helping with that. They found a tribe of goblins that, it turns out, has gained access to magic, and that's bad news for the defenders of Capstone, because before this time, the battles had only been mundane in nature, and the human defenders had the additional advantage of having magic to help them win the fights. Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. We play about once a month on Twitch, and we upload those videos to YouTube. And there will be additional content on YouTube as well between sessions to help fill out the game world, share lore, and get everyone more involved in what we're doing here. I'm going to go ahead and roll the intro, and then we'll get started.
The peace was lasting, long and true, from mountains to the ocean's blue. Man and elf and dwarf and gnome lived together, hearth and home. The cities grew, then kingdom came, the wise and true. Long may he reign. From cult to church, the truth was spread. The heretics were filled with dread. First they lied, and then they stole. The peace we had, no longer whole. They sought to kill and undermine, but truth was found before the time. We banished them, all but a few, then built ourselves a kingdom new, no longer marked by war and sin. Banar did give his grace to men. No gods, nor fiends, not great nor small, can penetrate his peaceful wall. From mountains to the ocean's blue, this peace will last us long and true.
We are going to welcome in our players here. Joining us, we have Alandite the Paladin, Bahir the Warblade, Skabash the Rogue, and of course the wonderful Rubato Brio the Wizard. Normally we would have a fifth player known as Lazarus, the favored soul. However, our player was not able to make it today, so I'm going to be filling in for him a little bit until such time comes when it makes sense for the character to step away for a bit. So thank you guys for being here. Let's go ahead and get ourselves over to the game board.
All right.
Whee!
Last time, the party was in search of this goblin spellcaster that they have since acquired, I'll say. And upon finding what they believed to be its lair, they were actually ambushed by a hag here in the bog. They dealt with the hag, chased off a supporting goblin archer, and managed to incapacitate the goblin sage. Not without significant danger, though. The goblin sage managed to put Bahir to sleep and bash his head in right good. He did, however, survive that, and that's essentially where we left off. The party has captured this goblin, and now they have potentially some exploring to do.
Okay.
All right, Alondite. We can't kill this one.
Secure him. Bind him. Keep watch of this one and make sure he doesn't wake up, and if he does, I'll deal with it.
You're not dealing with it, I'll deal with it. Last time you dealt with it, you killed them.
I'm not gonna kill him. We need this one alive.
I don't know if I fully believe that right now, friend.
I have orders to keep this one alive. He's staying alive.
Yeah, we should have kept the other one alive, too. Or at least let it go before killing it.
We had to let the other one go. The hag that you so graciously dealt with would have been alerted, and this whole thing would have been dealt with completely different. You should be
Oh
thankful
no!
that
We would have
dealt
tracked
with
it
the
down
way
and
we
killed
did.
it. We could have caught it. There was no reason to kill it while it was bound. It doesn't sit right with me or my guild to do such things. Carry about, look around. I'll guard him.
All right. Would you like to come with us, Londite, to look through the cave?
Just give me a second. Can I pull you
For a
aside,
while.
Scath? Just want to have like a quiet moment.
Okay.
I'm like kind of whispering to her and saying, I'm trying to keep this together. I really am. I'm trying to keep everyone together, and I'm doing a horrible job at it. I'm not the greatest leader, and it's under a lot of pressure, and I'm not sure I made the greatest choice, but I tried to make what I thought was the greatest choice to keep us alive.
Yes, but if you think about it, 2 of them already don't trust you, and you just murdered something that was completely helpless. There could eventually be an implosion of our group if that happens again.
Goblins work in numbers. It was going to come back with more. The land, too long have I been sheltered inside with seeing such protection, and now I'm coming out here and I'm seeing it's all for naught. There's chaos and death, and there's monsters everywhere with evil intent, and it's nothing like what we were taught.
Blondite, my people have been dealing with this for months. They come back in numbers. There's numbers with my group as well.
And it needs to get...
We could have dealt with it.
And why are we here? To get rid of it.
But if we kill everything in sight, we're not going to get any information.
I searched my heart, and it was evil. It had evil intent.
Yes, but you murdered it. It had no chance of fighting back. If it had evil intent, lots of things have evil intent. Lots of things and people with evil intent are behind bars in prison, where they're being interrogated by your people.
How many of them are goblins? How many of them are outside creatures? You want to fill it all with mindless creatures?
Good. It wasn't exactly mindless, it spoke. We don't need to discuss this further right now. But I will be letting my guild leader know about this.
While they're having this discussion, I'm just going to go ahead and start looking around.
Okay. How is where your character position? Is that where you want to be?
Maybe a little more towards this pile of death.
Okay. So the cave, sometimes even though we're using Talespire, what you're seeing is still loosely representative, but in this particular case, the cave, looks pretty much just like it does what you're seeing here. So you come across as you kind of round that corner and find just an absolute bone pile. You could sort through it if you wanted more information potentially, but they're completely picked clean. There's probably, I don't know, up to a dozen bodies or so of varying sizes, although some of them are smaller and some of them are larger. There doesn't seem to be a preponderance of one type or the other. And then behind you, you see, more or less what you would expect from somewhat of sorceress inclination, like you guys were searching for, but you see like a cauldron and some more spell reagents and some more bones, actually, as well.
Actually, like, is there...
We'll be quickly distracted from the bones then and look for the reagents and the like. Seems a little more speed.
Sorry, we ended up kind of talking over each other there. Rubato wants to... What, are you collecting the reagents, or...
Seeing what's there, seeing what I might be able to put use to, seeing if there's anything shiny or random that catches my attention, you know.
So it's all very naturalistic. There's like mushrooms, leeches, different types of like leaves and stems, and it's very much stuff that you would expect to find like in the forest, and particularly kind of around this boggy area that you're in.
Well, then I'll just kind of be like tossing stuff around as I sort through anything that I would grab for usefulness, but otherwise, yeah, just willy-nilly.
Kind of rifling through. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Bahir, what did you want to do?
So I can probably see the giant like statue thing back here from here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go investigate that thing. Like, is there like stuff set around it, or?
So you approach and see a pretty large, it's probably 10 or maybe even 15 feet tall, kind of totem of this slithering serpent. And in front of it, there's this like kind of glowing crystal outcrop that gives almost kind of a faint hum as you get closer to it.
The crystals do?
Mm-hmm.
Are they like embedded into the stone?
Make a search check.
Okay. Have to see what that is. It is okay.
Hey!
18.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, and are you like touching them? Or are you staying at a distance? Like what are you doing to
I'd
search
probably
them?
like poke it with my sword to see if it's like stuck in, or...
Okay. So it doesn't like rattle loose or anything like that, but you wouldn't necessarily expect that since it does look, stony.
Yeah.
But upon kind of like further visual examination, it does kind of look like, crystals generally grow, right? They form and accumulate over time. But it doesn't look like these crystals grew here. They appear to have been placed. You can see kind of as you look more at it, kind of poke at it with your sword, that the rock has been like chipped away to make kind of like pockets for the crystals to sit in.
Okay. Can I try to carefully extract a crystal?
Sure. Like, how would you like to do that?
Maybe like use my sword and try to like chip away at some of the stone around it with my sword and kind of like pry it out.
Isn't this like a two-handed greatsword?
Yeah.
Make a dexterity check.
Like, holding it with like both my hands, then like the point pointed down and like jabbing down with it.
Oh, okay. You said chip away, so I was
Oh.
thinking you were like swinging at it.
No,
Is it
not
like a lever?
squeeze, more like
Pry it.
jabbing at it to like chip away the stone.
Got it. Okay. I mean, I'm still gonna have. Yeah, it's for a slightly different purpose, but go ahead and make a dexterity check anyway to see if you can kind of
Okay.
work it in there.
11.
You feel like you can maybe kind of get like the tip of the sword, maybe jabbed into a little bit of the gap, but just a combination of the thickness of the blade that you have and the length of it makes the angle that you're trying to kind of like hold it up so you can get the tip down in. It just doesn't really seem like it's going to line up well.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna yell back. Your name's pronounced
Skabosh.
Gabosh. Okay. Gabosh, I might need to use one of your daggers over here when you have a moment.
You want to switch places with me and I'll come deal with it? Someone needs to watch the unconscious goblin.
Lazarus is back there also.
Is over there.
Alright, I'll come over then.
And then can I like show her the spot where I think a blade could fit in and see if she could do it with a smaller one? I'm trying to pry one of these crystals out. I'm gonna take with us.
Need a crystal. Am I just attacking... Am I attacking the rock with my dagger?
Well, I mean, you can do it however you want, but what he is telling you to do is
slip my dagger in?
Yeah, so that would be more of a dexterity check.
Okay, cool. Alright, I'll give that a shot then. That is an 18 total.
Nice.
18.
Okay. Yeah, it takes you, a little bit of work, right? It's in there. It's not like form fit, but it's this little divot in the rock was carved to have this crystal in it. So you have to kind of fidget around with it a little bit. But once you get the blade of the dagger in and kind of work it around a little bit, and then you find kind of a spot where it's not quite as cleanly fit around the crystal, and you're able to kind of get your dagger down in there. And even a dagger, right, is going to widen out as you get closer to the hilt.
Yeah.
So essentially, as you kind of like wiggle your dagger down in, it kind of eventually like kind of pops the crystal up and out.
I want to get another
Can I see
one.
what's happening from where I am?
I mean, details would be hard, but you can broadly, yes, you can see them and like the altar and stuff.
I'm gonna do it again.
I kind of turn and someone's like, I shout and say, "Don't touch it!" and I start running over.
Did
Nat 20 for another one.
Nice.
Nice.
So you want to try and pop out another one?
Yes.
Okay. Well, hold on. So you can keep the roll if that's what you want to do, but you kind of from behind you as you're fiddling with it, you hear Alendite yelling and kind of sloshing through this like ankle deep water that kind of pervades the whole cave. And as you pop out the first of the crystals, like they all stop glowing.
Uh-oh. Oops.
I'm sure that's fine.
I'm sure it's okay.
So I'm just gonna look at the statue in front of me and commit to memory. What exactly am I looking at? Spot check? Spot check?
No, I mean, you can just clearly see it in front of you. If you want to try and like get all up on it and see if there's petroglyphs or something, then that'll need a check. But broadly speaking, it's a it's just carved out of wood, like some kind of hard wood. There's like a kind of a totem in the middle of it that this maybe even taxidermied. You know, it would take a little bit more looking, but it doesn't appear to be carved out of wood. It's definitely not stone, but this large serpent-like creature is curled around a couple of times.
I roll to see what kind of serpent it might be.
Yeah, that'd be a knowledge nature check.
I have local, it's not going to help me. Bahir,
Yeah.
you know anything about nature-y stuff? Like what kind of snake this could possibly be?
I have no idea.
Okay, well. Where's that little gnome creature? Roboto!
I'm just reading
Rubato.
through the bones, collecting some. No,
Ru-
what?
Rubato, come here, come here, come here.
Oh, okay.
Do you know anything about nature? Animals and stuff.
Oh yeah, I know all kinds of things about nature.
What is this? What is this creature that's wrapped around this wooden thing? You recognize it?
Want me to roll for that?
Yeah. Yeah, knowledge nature.
That,
Oh, well, okay.
that appears to be a snake.
Okay.
All right, hold on. We have one of our new gifts from Atkinson.
That's amazing.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't look like any kind of snake that any of you have ever seen before.
All right, well.
I mean, it's definitely a snake, right? Like, there's no anthropomorphic features or anything like that, but unlike the snakes that you're used to seeing, if you are at all, it has this like strange, very kind of like aggressive looking like hood flap that kind of comes from its, well, they don't have shoulders, but you know, from a bit below where the head begins, and it seems to have a bit longer fangs than you're used to, like kind of all the proportions of it and just the general anatomy.
Rubato rolls a 17.
Looks a little, it's kind of alien.
What color is it?
I mean, you can see it. It's kind of a like green with like a bit of a goldish, like kind of slightly metallic hue to it.
So I kind of finally slogged my way over. Stop touching it.
We should probably tell your paladins about this.
I mean, if you're gonna mess something up, it's probably a little too late now. We've already made the crystals not work anymore, but...
Can I study it with knowledge religion?
Sure. It's worth pointing out too. Yeah, I can only do so much with the little bowl, but there is a
15.
green like liquid in that kind of golden bowl that's on the little, like the bottom part of the altar there.
I empty out my water skin and fill
That's
it
a
with
15.
whatever's in there.
15.
Yep.
Yeah, you're not aware of any like cult or anything specifically tied to imagery like this, but the way that it's set up does appear to be like religious in nature.
I scoop the green liquid into my empty water skin. Hand it to Alondite to tell him to take to his people. Maybe they can study this. It might be something important.
So you're just like pouring out your water skin and then just kind of like
Yes.
dunking it in like as if you would fill up water.
Yes.
I'd like to check out that liquid and see if I can identify it.
Yeah, I don't take all of it. I just take like a sample. But I don't have anything to take samples.
Okay, what would I title it as?
What was that, Alandite?
What would I title it as? Like
Just-
green liquid sample?
Yeah, water skin full of green liquid. Just make sure you don't accidentally drink out of that water skin. We don't know what it is.
So as you like dip your hand down into it to do that, your hand, there's like searing pain. You take 1 point of damage.
Okay, I guess I don't need to check it out and see what it is. It is something that hurts.
Well,
Good to know.
I mean, you may or may not know that. Do you like exclaim, or how do you
Sure.
react to that?
I mean, if it sears, I would probably react with a yelp of some kind.
So, I mean, you still complete the action. You know, it's not like you were stirring your hand around in it for 10 seconds or anything. You just like. So you do that, but it hurts.
Alondite, be careful with this. It apparently burns your skin.
Burns, does it? Yeah, I'll check it out then and see if I can identify
okay.
it.
Don't put it in the water skin because the water skin is technically a skin. Get that away from me.
Well, then it would probably just melt the water.
Yeah.
Does it melt the water skin?
I mean, as far as you can tell right now, it is in the skin.
Roboto, do you have anything like hard that this
Like
can
a
go
glass
in?
vial.
Yeah, that.
You know,
We bought you some kind of a kit, didn't we?
yeah, I've got some tools. I don't know if that came with some vials. Would it? Mr. Game Master with the artisan alchemist tools have come with some vials.
Yeah, probably a couple glass and a couple ceramic.
Okay. I'll fill up I'll fill up like 3 if I can with some of that.
Make sure we give one to the paladins.
Okay. And how are you accomplishing that?
Well, we've got a water skin full of it that's probably
I'll
not
transfer
dissolving
the water
yet.
skin into the
Yeah, use the
one
water
of the
skin.
beakers or whatever without touching it.
Okay. Make a dex check.
Hey.
+2.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah, well done. You know, there's a couple little
Oh,
moments
sorry,
where
that
there's
is
like
not +2. That is +0, so just 15.
Well, still.
That's fine, yeah. You know, there's maybe a moment here or there where like a couple, like there's a little like bloop of it that comes out a little bit faster than you expect, but you manage to kind of like pull it away from the vial as you're doing that. Nobody gets burned or anything.
I think we could have gotten 3 vials from that.
Sure.
All right. Well, then I'm going to keep 2 of them.
I'm just gonna discard that one.
And I
You wanna
search
move it
around and
back?
see if
Okay.
there's any like stuff
Okay.
laying around.
I'm gonna just kneel in front of this altar and grab my book with the holy symbol and just focus on it, my book, and then try and detect any evil from this altar and see if there's like anything that I can figure out about it.
Okay. To Bahir first, there doesn't really seem to be much in the way of what kind of civilized people would consider, you know, valuable possessions or anything like that. Everything is very naturalistic. You know, you can see kind of beside where you're standing appears to be probably where it slept. It's kind of done up like a bed, sort of. And you know, there's lots of, you find maybe a couple of small kind of like wooden totems that are like carved sort of like the altar that you see here, you know, kind of varying degrees of quality. And yeah, lots of mushrooms and just kind of like generally stuff that you would find in the area.
I will find the best representation of like the totems that are laying there to take with me that represent the serpent that's
Okay.
here.
Sure. Yeah, you know, they're probably all, because everything else pretty much is wet, right? So they're probably all up on that little bed platform. So you spend a minute or two rifling through the leaves and reeds and stuff that are up there, and find, you know, 3 or 4 of them and pick the best one.
All right.
And as you're doing that, yeah, Alendite, are you like actually taking a knee? Because like I said, it is like ankle deep water.
Yep.
Okay.
Taking a knee, and I am pulling out my book, which has my holy symbol.
So you, from that position, you close your eyes, you concentrate for a second, and kind of like try and expand your senses out beyond your body. You know, if this is truly like an evil altar or something, it would probably be worth having somebody a little bit more powerful come out here to try and consecrate the ground or something like that. But to your surprise, you don't, it doesn't seem to be evil, which really seems weird considering the circumstances. But as you kind of like process that surprise, you realize that it doesn't just not feel evil, it doesn't really feel anything.
Can I focus longer on it for a second round?
Sure. Is there anything in particular that you want to try and accomplish with that? Like, are you...
I'm looking for a specific location of it rather than just a general presence.
Okay. Do you want to like lay hands on it or anything, or how are you going about that?
Yeah, I'll actually, like, with holding the book in one hand, I'll like touch the altar and see if there's anything specific.
Okay. You're met with more nothingness. There's rock, there's crystal if you end up, if you touch one of those. But there's no like presence like you would maybe expect there to be.
Alondite, why are you praying to a snake?
I'm not praying to a snake, I'm praying to Banal for any sort of revelation. I'm not getting anything.
Probably because you're standing next to a big snake totem of some other god or something. Just a guess, as I'm picking up skulls and looking for one that looks nice and just chucking the rest.
Rubato,
Hmm?
could we maybe see if you can pick up that bowl that the stuff was in? Maybe you can use that.
Yeah, I got a little bit, but I mean, I could always use more. I'm sure there could be some fun stuff to play with there.
Oh, Rubatu, in my paladin training, when we were actually taught how to do this, anytime we were presented with anything that was overwhelmingly evil, it would hurt to be in its presence. This is not giving me anything.
That's curious.
Yeah. That's real curious. And then I'll try to grab the bowl.
Not at all, and it's just maybe it's fake, but they believe it in anyways.
It definitely gives me a bad vibe.
I mean, I don't
okay,
think
so
it's
you're just
evil.
grabbing the bowl.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean there is still some of the greenish liquid in it. It's when you grab it, it doesn't feel as heavy as you would expect it to if it was like fully made out of metal.
Mm.
So it might be something, who knows what like the inner material is, but it might be something that's essentially like coated with a metal.
Very interesting.
But otherwise, I mean, there's nothing, there's no like Indiana Jones boulder or anything. Like you grab the bowl and have
The
a bit
snake
of
doesn't
sloshing
eat
green liquid.
alendite or anything?
Hmm?
The snake doesn't bite alendite or anything?
No.
Dang it.
You said the snake doesn't seem to be made out of like a metal or.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to get a little closer to it probably to get like a really good sense of it. But yeah, it's you can see that the thing that it's wrapped around is clearly some kind of wood, but the actual snake itself doesn't look like that.
Can I like poke at it with my sword? Does it seem metal?
Sure. Yeah, you don't need to. You're not trying to like do anything especially dexterous or whatever. So you just kind of like poke at it.
I try and cut off a piece of scale.
Okay. Yeah, you as you poke at it, you know, it's firm, but it does give a little bit. And then seeing that, Skabosh walks up and manages to, you know, I mean, they're not like dragon scales, right? So it's a little bit hard to just like pick out a scale. But you know, take your dagger and kind of like shear off a little chunk of like scale and skin.
I put it in my pack with
Is
crystal.
Is it wood underneath, like where she cut off, or is it still like the same material?
Well, it's not scale, but yeah, it looks skinny.
Oh,
This is most disturbing.
is there like where she cut the scale from? Like, is there any like blood or anything? Or
No.
okay,
They're all entranced
kind
by
of
the
want
snake,
to
and
slice into it. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just collecting bones over here.
Okay.
Can I cut a little bit more of it off and see what happens?
Sure. Are you cutting deeper, or are you trying to like cut off more scales?
Deeper.
Okay.
Does anyone have a scribing tool on them? Like
I do.
not a pen or whatever you call it, a quill.
I do. Why?
May I borrow it?
For what?
I would like to draw this in my journal.
I have a representation of it already, so.
You have a journal, but no quill?
I couldn't afford it at the time. And I was going to record everything that I had thought back at the temple. However, this is something that I need to draw from memory. Or as I see it right now.
Well, I'll pull out the like totem. I have this that is the snake, you know. So, I'd rather not waste ink. It's kind of expensive.
How much is it, and I will pay you back?
Okay, I'll let you. Yeah, you can use it. Do you need paper?
I have a book. I do not need paper, just the quill and ink.
Okay.
All right. So you hand that off to him. Let him. You're gonna have to find somewhere to where you can like sketch, but
On the table,
then
right
you
in front of
take your sword and kind of cut into it a bit more, and you know, as you first like apply a bit more pressure to it, there's like a little bit of resistance. Like it feels kind of like cutting into any other sort of flesh, and then you feel kind of like the sharp end of the blade, like, you know, it slides through like that give, and then out pours just like a nasty smelling kind of like black, like tarry goop that has like you know, you'd have to investigate it a bit further, but that has like there's like chunks in it. And kind of where are you cutting from? Like
Probably
kind of
just like the side right here by where I'm at.
but like the bottom coil, the middle coil, like up,
like the middle.
up by the head. Okay. So as that's like gushing out of it, it's essentially you start seeing everything from higher, from like above the point where you cut, kind of starts to like deflate a little bit and kind of like crumple.
Okay.
And then it's like filling, it's kind of turning the like pond water that you're standing in black as it like dissipates out into it.
Gross. I'll step away because I have boots on. So it was an actual snake at one point. A
That is more
giant one.
disturbing.
Holy cow.
Maybe one of us
How
should try to
big do you
grab
think
one of
the
its
snake
fangs.
was? How big do you think the snake was, guys?
I'll
Huge.
try to get a fang and I'll stand up on the table and kind of like grab at one and try to yank it out.
Try and yank what out? Sorry.
One
A
of the
fang.
fangs.
Oh.
From its mouth.
Okay. Make a strength check.
Yeah, Daddy needs a new fang quill.
I gotta look at my sheet.
Also, anybody that has knowledge local can make a knowledge local check.
It's
excellent.
11. Oh, sorry. No, I'm trying to get rid of that.
At least have it trained.
I got 11.
You thought it was untrained, sweetie? Okay.
That will be a 18 total.
18. Okay, so this isn't anything that you have ever like owned or really been around. Your family wasn't really involved in like hunting and that kind of stuff. But, excuse me, you have heard of things like this, and it appears that this probably was a living creature at one point, and then it, you know, died or was killed or whatever, and then they did, you know, they used whatever that was to kind of like stuff it and preserve it and kind of like mold it into this statue form.
This was apparently a living creature at one point, and then they either killed it or it died of something, and they stuffed it and mounted it on this pole thing. It's very strange.
So it's like they went and hunted it, and now they're showing it off like a trophy type of thing.
That's what it looks like, but why is there an altar underneath it? That's very peculiar.
Maybe it's just a conveniently placed table?
No, I don't think so. The
Maybe
crystals
they
in the
like-
bowl, it's too convenient.
Maybe they like to do their writing at this table, and they like to look up at the giant snake to get inspiration.
No, there's something else going on here.
Also, you were not able to pull a fang out.
Dang it. Okay. Those fangs are pretty stuck in there.
We should probably start dragging that creature back to town.
Yeah.
I gotta report to.
Drag the snake back?
No,
The goblin that we captured.
the Goblin spellcaster.
Yeah.
We should probably have someone come investigate this further.
Well, I mean, okay, if you say so. And I'll go investigate the snake further.
No, not us, Rubato.
That's a dead snake.
yes, it is.
All right, so do you want to, because remember it is the afternoon, because you guys traveled out here in the first place. So it is the afternoon of the 11th day of mid-spring. You could travel back to Capstone today, but that would require force marching because you've already been active for a significant part of the day.
Perhaps we should camp here and fortify.
I'm kind
Could
of
we
tired,
make it
guys.
to the ruins where we found Rubato
I
before
feel like
dark?
we might be able to defend this position better.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That's
they'll
also-
probably make it
where
there.
we
But that's
can
also
sleep out
closer.
of the water.
Yeah, I was gonna say the entire ground is water, and I don't know if I feel comfortable sleeping where goblins have slept. They're not the cleanest of.
Well, we'll return to the ruins.
You guys did sleep in the goblin
They smell a
camp.
little bit, but they're not that bad, really.
We did camp in the goblin camp before.
They could
I
have
was
used some salt.
unconscious for most of that, so.
But you still camped there.
So what do you want to do?
I think the
I'm
ruins
lost
is
in
the
thought and
better
drawing
one.
while they're doing all these decisions. My inattentiveness has taken over.
Okay.
I go kind of smack Alendite on the back of the head and tell him we're heading out.
Just give me a few more seconds.
No. We gotta go now. We're losing daylight.
Is anybody bringing the crystal that you did pop out, or are you leaving it there?
No, I take one with me. It's
Okay.
in my bag.
And
With
I'm
the skin.
taking a bunch of bones. These could be handy later.
Okay.
What could
And you know,
use?
you did say that you wanted to do like, you know, some kind of alchemy and that sort of stuff. So we can sort out the exact details later, but you know,
Yeah.
it's pretty reasonable to expect that like some of these mushrooms and some of these like pails with leeches and stuff in them probably have some useful stuff that you could gather as well.
Yeah, I kind of glossed over that earlier with just me rummaging through that stuff.
Yeah.
I figured if there was anything interesting there, you would have had me roll or something. But otherwise, yeah, I just collected what I thought was useful and a collection of bones that I might have a use for later.
Sure.
Did someone went and grabbed the hag head that we killed, right? I think Alondite did that.
Yeah, one of us has it, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I
I
do believe
will,
I have the hag head.
You do or do not?
I do have it, yep.
I will pick up our goblin friend. Like, you throw him over my shoulder.
Before you do that, I make sure it is gagged.
Oh no, sorry. I do
Oh, yeah.
not have it. I have it written down to grab it.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
So on my way out, I will grab it.
Okay. I'm gonna die says collect the goblin ears. All right, so is the final goal to try and make it back to what I'm going to call Rubato's ruins, or are you going to the goblin camp, or where are you trying to get?
We'll make it to the ruins.
I think we're going for the ruins, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it's overcast and windy today, but it's not anything that's going to be significantly impedimentary to your travel. And at this point, you've been through this area a couple of times, so it doesn't take a significant amount of effort to make your way back to those ruins.
Oh, and I hand back the quill and ink to Bahir.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure the ruins were this way.
Certain of that.
Nope.
And who has the... I guess you gave one to Alendite and Rubato kept two.
Yes.
All right, it's a little bit after sunset by the time you make your way there, but it's, you know, it's not super late yet. You probably still have a few more hours if there's anything that you want to do before you would need to go to sleep, or if you want to try and go to sleep earlier, obviously you could wake up earlier.
I'm going to set the goblin like in this corner over here, and then like lay out my stuff to sleep like right next to it.
I sit on the other side.
Okay.
And I will like take my whetstone because I have one of those and like sharpen my sword and get all the like chips out because I probably chipped it on the crystal, like the rocks and stuff.
Yeah. All right. And are you wanting to do that like kind of when it's your turn to be on watch, or do you want to do that as like an activity before?
I'm just doing that before we go to rest. Yeah.
Okay.
Can I borrow that for my daggers when you're done?
What's that, sweetie?
Can I borrow that for my daggers when you're done?
Sure.
Excellent.
I go to sleep early.
You just go to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Sleepy gnome.
I'm in
Sleepy
my
gnome.
corner. This is where I've been. I'm going to sleep.
Anybody else?
We got a
I'll take
watch
first
system
watch.
set up.
I'll start the fire and take first watch.
Okay. And just as a reminder, we did discover last time that at least some of the people can group trance with Lazarus. So, are you wanting to do that again, or are we taking a longer rest today?
What is the group trans?
It means that you only need the effect is that you can just rest for 4 hours to be fully refreshed instead of 8.
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Well, I totally would have done that if I remembered, but I didn't.
Okay, so I'm stuck with a dilemma because Lazarus isn't here. I only have 3 HP, but I'd have to RP with Lazarus to get a way to get him to heal me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I have no idea where he was on spells and whatnot.
I don't think he had used any, or if he did, it was very few.
I remember it mostly being shooting of crossbows from him and Roboto.
I can't think of anything that he would have done because I know you guys were sort of split up, like physically as well. So I think he healed once because of the fight that you guys had with the goblin in these ruins on the way out, and that was the same day. But I think that's it. Let me look at his character sheet really quickly and see what his spells per day are. He probably has either 2 or 3 left.
Just trying to put spiders in his hair. Somehow I don't think that would work with him.
Okay. Yeah, he would have 3 more spells left. We don't have to go into like full depth, but I guess, if you want to give me the Cliff's Notes for how you'd like to talk to Lazarus about that.
Okay, so I guess I'd address that we're kind of beat up, if you wouldn't mind healing them first. And then I guess how that would go is whether he would or would not, he'd probably heal everyone up and then give a little bit to me, if any.
Well, I mean, if we're trancing with them, we would be fully rested. Probably gain what is it, 1 hit point per hour?
It's 1 per rest. Well, it's your number of hit dice per rest, but right now you only have 1 hit dice.
Oh, so that might be a good idea to have him heal.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, unlike really just about everybody else that's here, Lazarus has no particular qualms about anything that's happened within the last 24 hours. So it doesn't actually really take a whole lot of convincing to get him to do that. He kind of sizes everybody up and, triages the people that need healing. I'll say that the first one is on Bahir. Presumably as he's doing that, Bahir mentions, that he got hit in the head really hard with a stick.
Yeah.
That heals for 10.
Nice. That puts me all the way back up.
No, it's got you up to 13
we had
to
you at
14.
3 out of 14, so that should put you at 1 under. Oh, yeah, the hit points on your mini in this map are probably not up to date. That was just whatever they happened to be when you were here.
Well, I'll be back up in the morning then.
Yes, actually, that's a good point. You will be full after you rest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Alendite actually needs it the next worst. So he kind of like, you try and tell him like heal everybody else first or whatever, and he doesn't really say yes or no. He just kind of goes about his business, heals by here, like looks everyone else up and down, and then like ignores what you said and comes over and heals you next. That seems Lazarus-y. Wow. That will heal Alendite for 9, which does fill you up.
Sweet.
Also, I just noticed your hit points on your mini are wrong on this map. So that's fixed now.
Also
and
the wrong
then
mini.
it looks like Skabosh is probably technically the next worst off. Oh, yeet. Okay. So he fully heals all of you. Well, nearly, I guess.
And then all this is happening. I'm setting up our tent again.
Okay. All right, so are we going with Rubato is doing a full 8-hour sleep, Lazarus, Gabosh, and Bahir are trancing, and Alendite's on watch?
Sounds like it.
Yep.
Okay. And I don't remember exactly, I feel like there was at least one person that couldn't. Do Skabosh and Bahir both have 1 rank in concentration?
Oh, that might have been what it was. I don't think I have.
I have a lot of ranks in concentration.
Yeah, that's what it was. I couldn't.
Okay, so Skabosh will have to sleep for a full 8 hours, but
I'm fully healed anyway.
But yeah, some combination of Lazarus and Bahir could be on the next watch. Okay. And where do you want, go ahead and position yourself where you want to be watching from, Alendite.
But there.
What, sweetie?
How do I make myself all over again?
Right click and go to, I think it's status is how it's worded.
Yeah.
I love the flop over animation.
Right click.
It's got the little goblin with the X on their head. You click that, and then it says knock down.
Yeah, hopefully eventually they'll add
I was just holding
additional statuses, but for now that's what there is. Okay. Well, and yeah, realistically, you're more of kind of like sitting cross-legged and holding hands, but there isn't exactly an animation for that, so I guess he'd probably be over here, so he could make contact with both of you.
Lazarus sleeps on top of the goblin to make sure it doesn't get away.
I wouldn't put it past him to use it as a pillow.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
fair.
I think that's
fair.
a good opportunity for us to take a real quick IRL break. I want to try and get more in the habit of doing that. Are you actually lighting a fire? I know that little cauldron is just there on the map, but fire or no fire?
Yep. I'm lighting a fire.
Okay.
Fire is good.
Yes, please.
All right, Alan, go ahead and make us a spot and a listen check.
Spot is minus. So yeah, that's a 0. And listen also. Yeah, so -4 with that.
So an 8 for listen.
Yep.
And a 0 for spot.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm kind of just looking at my book and my journal.
As far as you're aware, your watch passes otherwise uneventfully. The weather is kind of calmed down. It's a relatively quiet night, maybe a little bit of breeze still, and you don't see or hear anything that gives you concern.
Who's next?
Whoever you want to wake up, it would be some combination of people that are in trance with Lazarus.
Not be here.
I mean, he's in the trance. You can do whatever you want with that.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, the three of them that are in that little pile over there are tranced together.
Yeah, give Behir a nudge.
I'll get up. That time already, huh?
Yeah. If you don't mind.
Yeah. Then Lazarus also watches with me? Is that how it works? Or is it...
That depends. If you want Alendite to be able to trance, so that way you can all wake up after a total of only 8 hours of sleep, then Lazarus would need to stay there to trance with Alendite.
Okay. So I would be on watch. Okay.
Yeah, Skabosh could be with you also if you want to wake her up. Like, she tranced at the same time you did.
I can't trance.
Oh, just kidding. Never mind. I forgot.
I'll let her sleep. And I will watch. So it's spot and listen.
Yes.
Okay. I think I do actually have 2 different things for those, so I gotta go look. Spot. Yeah. Okay.
So remind me not to go and watch.
And listen is okay.
Nice.
So the bot would be a 17, and then the listen would be a 8.
Okay. So, about halfway through your watch, a fog starts rolling into the forest, and things get pretty obscured, pretty socked in. You know, it's not like you can't see your hand in front of your face, but it's probably limiting your effective vision to, like, definitely less than 30 feet.
You said towards the end of my watch?
About halfway through.
Okay. Can I swap to, so like for the scent, could I use my move action? Would I just be like using it over and over again if I wanted to concentrate with that?
Yeah, it doesn't, like, there's no action economy really when you're not in combat, so yeah, you can just be at, like, level 3 scent.
Okay.
functionally all the time when it's something like this.
Yeah, I'll do that
Okay.
for the other half.
Okay. About a half an hour after the fog starts rolling in, you start to pick up some smells.
All right. Would I be able to differentiate between like human and goblin, or is it like goblins will all smell different, so it wouldn't necessarily be similar?
You could, I mean, you could try, right? It's going to be a knowledge check to do that.
Okay. Well, I don't have any knowledges, so might as well not try.
But you did say that you were concentrating, on your sensibility. So
Yeah.
you coming from upwind of you, so you are downwind of what you're smelling. You pick up probably like a dozen creatures.
Okay. And it's not familiar.
It's something you smelled before, but yeah, not necessarily something that I'd call familiar.
Okay.
Not something you've spent a lot of time around.
I'll wake everybody up then.
Okay. How are you doing that?
I'll nudge Skaba awake. And then I'll go and get Lazarus and then Alondite and then Roboto.
Okay.
Quietly. Be like, there's someone's coming. A bunch of people coming. We might want to get moving a little early.
I jump up with my crossbow in hand. What?
Shh.
Okay.
Oh,
Can I can't tell how far they are, can I? Says the strength and general location.
Well, so yeah, just to give it some context, like for the player. Yeah, you know that they're coming from the direction that you guys came from. And also you know that even being downwind of them, you would only be smelling them from 50 or 60 feet away, not very far at all.
Okay.
So this is probably less of a let's pick up camp and move, and more of a do we want to run, hide, fight?
Okay. Yeah, I'll go through and wake everyone up and I say, I think we should run. It's foggy right now, so they might not really be able to see us very well. So I think we might be able to get through without having to fight anything. Especially since our good healer friend just used all of his spells last night.
We have we're just gonna ditch the tent.
Might have no choice.
I mean, there's 12 of them coming. From what I can tell. How much is a tent? It can't be that much, right?
It's 30 gold.
It's
All
what?
right, you don't have infinite time. What are we doing?
I think.
Okay,
I think we
douse
should-
the fire, and I would say hide, but
I don't think we're very stealthy.
you get a bonus for hiding in the forest, don't you?
Well, sort of, but also, yeah, there is the fog as well.
I'm gonna sneak up on top to that little spot I would hide at before, and then hide up here, crouched all low.
Okay, so we're gonna hide. Can I put the fire out?
Yeah, douse the fire.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody go ahead and do any repositioning you want to do, and then make a hide check.
Yeah, I'm gonna hide back here. So they're coming from the northwest, right? Ish.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, so.
That's a 13 for Rubato.
Where's hide? Okay.
Plus,
that's
plus or
actually-
minus anything that would be from the fog.
I got a total of 14.
I got 12.
Okay. And to anybody who was resting, remember also you don't rest in your armor. So if you have an armor check penalty.
But if you're in light.
Yes, sorry, but really what I'm saying probably applies mostly to Alan Diet, who has the biggest armor check penalty, and he doesn't have light armor. So armor check penalty would not be applied to this hide.
Okay, so yeah, just 12 then.
Okay, so we have 12, 13, 14.
I also have 12. Yeah.
Very middling.
The 2 12s, a 13, and a 14.
Is the goblin still, like, knocked out?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, as far as you can tell, right?
And gagged.
Yeah.
All right, I should roll for Lazarus as well.
6. Great. I'm sure he's very dexterous.
Well, he is elven, so he's probably a little bit more so than you might otherwise expect.
Mm.
Okay. He doesn't have any ranks, though, so it's just his dex. Dex is +1. Awesome.
Oof.
Okay. All right, so you douse your fire, you find your hiding spots, you know, pray to whatever gods may be that your goblin stays asleep, and wait. And like a minute or so passes by, and then some of you, actually probably not too many of you because you all have terrible hearing, but those of you that can hear a group of voices passing by what sounds very close to where you are, like, you know, probably within 40 to like 40, 50, maybe 60 feet at most. They don't sound like they're trying to be especially quiet. Those of you that speak Goblin do identify it as being Goblin. And I guess if you want to try and make out anything that they're saying, that would be probably a separate listen check.
Who else besides Lazarus understands Goblin?
Oh, I definitely do.
Okay.
I'll roll for Lazarus.
Not terrible.
Well, I'm sure he has like a -10 or something, though.
Probably.
I'm gonna roll, but I don't actually understand Goblin at all.
Oh, that's right. I was like, wait, I thought you did. But no, I'm thinking about the book, which was written as Sylvan.
No, I just kept pretending that I did.
Well, right, that too, but the two of you both like read and attempted to read the book. So I was like, wait, what the heck?
Right.
But that's, yeah, the book was in Sylvan. Okay, sorry, what was his roll? It's 12. His listen is... Actually, that's right. He's one of the only two of you that has a positive listen score.
Let's go.
I also
That's
do.
awesome.
I just don't roll very well sometimes.
All right. Yeah, he's probably not exactly going to try and translate to you immediately right now, but for the sake of expediency and since the player is not here, he'll fill you in later that they essentially were just talking. I mean, just like how you guys talk when you're marching. There wasn't any particular like intelligence or like intel, so to speak, to it, and and he didn't hear him say like anything about, oh, they're over here, or anything like that. They're just kind of jabbering away as they like walk past you.
Okay.
But yeah, otherwise, assuming that you wait for at least a few minutes, you don't hear anything else, you don't see anything.
Time of night. Time of in the watch is this?
Probably like 2 or 3 a.m.
We should probably break down the tent at least.
Yeah.
Is it
Okay.
still
So are you-
early enough in the night?
Are you
to
breaking
kind
down the
of-
tent and then finishing your camp here? Because you still have a couple hours to go. Or do you want to
Yeah,
move?
we should stay here, but we should break down the tent for expedience sake of getting out in case more of them roam by.
What was that, Rubato?
Oh, I was just trying to clarify what we were doing. So I'm going to go back to sleep then and try to get my 8 hours.
Go for it.
Okay.
I am as well.
So yeah, anybody who hadn't yet completed a rest, whether that was through trancing or whatever, would need 3 hours because you add an hour when you're interrupted to finish.
How horrible is it to sleep with armor on?
You wake up fatigued, and if you were already
Yeah.
fatigued, then you become
Okay.
exhausted.
I wouldn't recommend it.
All right.
Okay, so everybody is getting back in their positions and
I
whatnot.
will finish my rest. Or my watch.
Okay. About another hour goes by, and you hear, because you're kind of like looking out, I'm assuming like kind of to the northwest where that's.
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of immediately behind you, over by where the trance pile is and whatnot, you hear like kind of some scuffling sounds start.
Like nearby.
Yeah, like in the camp.
Oh, by like the goblin over here, our goblin.
Yeah, I mean, you turn around and you can see the goblin, because I think somebody said they gagged it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you hear, yeah, like kind of muffled like yelling, and you see it like kind of like rocking back and forth and kind of like fighting against its bonds.
Okay. I will. Crap.
You gonna hit it for non-lethal again?
Yeah, I'm gonna not try to knock it out.
Okay. I mean, so that's one of the fun things about once you have something kind of fully under your power, just like how it coup de grace you for lethal damage. Like I don't see why you can't coup de grace for non-lethal damage.
Okay.
So
Night,
yeah,
night.
you can kind of set up and take a full round action to, probably not with your sword, but
Pommel.
like grab a broken piece of masonry or whatever and just give them a good clonk.
I can't hit him with the pommel of the hand.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could. It's a little less flavorful, but yeah, however you want to do
True.
it.
Yeah, I'll knock them back out and go back and resume my watch like nothing
You
happened.
could just wake the paladin for non-lethal damage.
So do you want to use the sword, or do you want to like grab a rock or
Um,
something?
Whatever
I
you want to
would,
do.
like- yeah, I'll like pick up a rock and like bash him against the head with it.
Okay, so what's your maximum like melee damage? So it'd be probably 1d6 for the rock,
like,
and then what's your
strength?
strength?
So I have a 3 modifier in strength.
Okay, so it would be a 9, and then coup de grace maximum damage, which is critical, right? So it'd be 18 non-lethal damage.
Oh gosh,
Yeah,
it'll be out for
okay.
a while.
It's worth pointing out. I do, like, generally speaking, this isn't strictly raw, but you know, I think if you do enough non-lethal damage to something, like, there is going to be some effect potentially to that. So I guess it's worth pointing out. You might not want to actually coup de grace for non-lethal, because you know that it's a spellcaster. You know that it's not particularly strong. It's
Yeah.
kind of hard to bash something's head in with a rock so hard that it sleeps for a whole day without doing some kind of significant
I'll
damage.
just bash him in the head enough times where he eventually gets knocked out but doesn't die.
Yeah.
He'll wake up. He just won't be able to speak because of brain damage.
This came up previously when, in like essentially the middle of a hurricane making landfall, the party found a halfling trapper in the woods back in our previous game, and Lance wanted to charge it for like 140 points of non-lethal damage, and I was like, no, that's not a thing. He has 6 hit points. You can't put him to sleep until next century for non-lethal damage. Like, you're just going to kill him.
Yeah.
So okay, yeah. So you kind of square up to, you know, really like bash its head in, and then you're like, yeah, this isn't exactly like an orc warrior. So you think better of it and give him like a knock upside the head, and he collapses. Or, well, I guess he was already on the ground, but you know, he stops moving, and then maybe you give him one more little thump just for good measure.
Yeah.
Oh God, still a lot. But it's not like 40 at least. So yeah, you feel pretty confident that he's going to be asleep for a while.
Good.
And you didn't wake anybody else up or anything to help. You just go over and give him a clonk.
Yeah, I don't wake no one up.
Okay. All right. The rest of your watch time passes. You know, you probably kind of instinctively go to grab him after it's been 2 or so hours, and then you're like, oh yeah, I should probably let him sleep a little bit extra. So you give it another like hour or 2, and then go and wake everybody up.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm the wakey. Time to get to it. I'll heave the goblin up and over my shoulder. Kind of kick Alondite a bit. Get up.
Kind of like punch his foot.
Probably like toss a pebble up there to hit Roberto. Or Rubato.
Roberto.
Rubato.
Roberto.
Get up, Rubato.
Hello. My name is Roberto.
Ew.
Do we still have the sickness from the hag, or is that gone because we're no longer in his presence?
So as you wake up, everybody that was still missing hit points regains 1 more hit point. Anybody who had taken strength damage from the hag regains 1 point of their missing strength. And anybody that was fatigued is no longer fatigued. Also, anybody who was sickened due to the murder that took place here is also no longer sickened. So essentially, regain 1 hit point, clear any negative status effects that you had, and regain 1 of your lost strength. I think it was 3 strength damage, so you're still missing some.
I'll pull out my book and start going through the spells.
Back to Capstone.
Yeah, you do need to give a little bit of time for like the wizard to prepare his spells and whatnot, but you know that can happen while the rest of you are breaking down tent and doing whatever.
We broke down the tent earlier.
Oh, that's right. Okay, well, you know, do whatever you want. Or leave without Rubato. I mean, he goes to bed without talking to anybody.
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do when you need to get your sleep in.
Right?
I was in a comfortable place.
Also, everybody, at least that's down there, so maybe not Rubato, but the three of you that are down there, make me a spot check.
Okay.
8.
Ooh.
Good job, Bahir.
Ooh.
We have another another little video from Atkinson.
Nice.
Nice.
Nice. That's 17.
Put a nat 20.
Yeah, but a nat 20 also.
Send your message on Discord.
Are you feeling all right, Lazarus?
He's never exactly the most emotive person in general, but he looks up at you kind of bedraggledly and just says, "Yeah, I'm just I don't know. I just kind of want to get back to town."
All right, sounds good. You think you can make it all the way back without getting sick or whatever on the way?
He kind of stops for a moment. He's just kind of smiles weakly and says, "Yeah, I'll be okay."
All right.
Something was up with that hag. I need to report this to the temple immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Slap my book close and jump down. Well, let's get moving then, I suppose. We got some work to do, right?
All right, so what's your plan for getting back to town, since you know there is, like, a whole troop of goblins in the general area?
As fast as we can. If we see the goblins, we book it.
We have a day-long chase scene.
Yeah, like full march. We're doing
We walk
Lord
past
of the
them,
Rings,
we
the chasing the orcs scene.
We have longer legs.
Okay.
Well, some of us do.
I'll carry you. I'm already carrying another goblin, so maybe along that will have to carry you.
I'll walk.
Yeah, if you were carrying him also, you'd probably be, like, whatever your next stage of overburdened is, would be my guess, from weight.
Yeah. Probably.
What's funny is Rubato probably moves at the same speed I do.
Oh, because of your armor?
Yep.
Okay. So just as straight of a line as you can manage in this fog, you're going for it?
Yeah.
Send it.
Okay.
Maybe like holding each other's like arms together so we don't get unlinked in the fog and get lost.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
Do we need to roll anything for going through the fog or?
Sort of. So the fog has actually intensified throughout the last few hours. If you're watching into the morning here, it's like you're completely socked in now. Like anything that's outside of the immediate like ruin area where you are, and in fact, even kind of within the area, like where Lazarus is standing would actually be a little bit hard to clearly see Skabosh. So yeah, somebody make me, whoever wants to pick somebody who wants to kind of lead the pack here, but somebody's going to need to make a survival check.
I could do it. I don't know. Skabosh is better at it than I am. That's fine, but
I am really good with directions.
I head back towards town.
Well, right, but you need to, somebody needs to like take the lead and then out of character make a survival check to.
I just, yeah, I do that.
Into a direction. Okay.
Survival?
Survival.
Yeah, no.
Amazing. Well, you don't know that that's a no, though.
time to go north.
All right, so you all link up and, kind of position yourselves. I don't know, do you want to be in like a flying V, or are you in a line, or what's your formation?
Oh, I made it into a 15. Look, that means we're good. Probably like a line.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless you're going to argue with each other, right? Because that roll, of course, happens out of character. Like, Skabosh is like, I've got it, I'm going to lead us back home. It's this way.
No, I didn't roll that. I bumped into it with my character.
Oh, okay, okay.
I moved it. Yeah.
Okay. So a line with Skabosh in front.
Yep.
I'll be right behind
I
Skabosh.
have no reason to doubt it. I've trusted Skabosh every step of the way.
I will be like concentrate. Ooh, do I have to stand still to do the concentration because it uses my move action?
No.
Okay. I will try to like concentrate as we walk. So like, really depending on whoever's in front of me to lead us, while I like kind of like close my eyes and like really try to watch those goblins.
Yeah, really take in like the smells and sounds around you.
Yeah.
Just follow the clinking, you'll be fine.
Same question with detect evil. Do I have to stop and focus?
I think starting it is some kind of action. I'll look that up right now, but maintaining it should just be like concentrate, presumably as a move action.
Alright, I want to do that and then have that going as we're going, like as we're walking, to make sure that we don't have like anyone hiding in the bushes.
Okay. Yeah, so it takes a standard action to like activate detect evil. So you do have to like stand there and
okay, so
say
I
the
kind of
words
like
and wave your hands and whatnot.
I do a tugging of the line down the party to say, just give me a second to prep a spell. Not a spell, but an ability. And I cast.
I mean, yeah, you would call it a spell. It's still magic as far as like you're concerned in character.
Yeah, and I pull out my holy book and just read it and just focus inward and start thinking about detecting evil.
Okay. So as you finish the incantation and kind of like spiritually open your eyes to the area around you, you're shocked to like it was weird when you were at the altar, but there's a goblin with you and you don't sense any evil around you.
I kind of just keep that to myself for now.
Oh.
Just loudly close my book in frustration.
Furious, sir.
Really
Yeah, it's worth pointing out that that's none of your characters know that.
Yeah, the rest of us have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, of course. I'm just following right on Skabosh's heels. She knows exactly where she's going, so I just want to make sure I'm following.
Okay. So you set out, marching towards town. The fog kind of continues to fluctuate between like completely socked in, like you can't even see beyond the person that you're touching, to being kind of moderately foggy where you can see out probably 30 or 40 feet. And that lasts for actually a good portion of the day. About kind of roughly halfway through your march, the fog starts fading, and you find yourselves still very much in the forest. Those of you that can, this would be more or less passive. So anybody who has like any skill in survival, go ahead and make another survival check.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm rolling like that today, huh?
Was that another 20?
Yeah.
Nice.
So that'd be 23. Because I'm
Give me
actually
those.
good at survival. Ish.
Nailed it.
So after you kind of clear your way out of the fog bank and stop and get your bearings, you realize that you're nowhere near where you were intending to be.
Yeah, like I take a break from smelling around, I open my eyes, I'm like, where are we?
You're pretty confident that somehow in the fog that you've ended up going more or less west, like due west from where you were, and you should have been going like southeast. So not quite the completely wrong direction, but pretty close.
Can I like correct our course then? Like,
Yeah.
go straight that way. Why is there a giant Alondai in the distance?
Wait, oh, is that still out there? Did you find it? Like, oh yes.
Yeah, it's right over there.
That was. I'm gonna delete that. That was how I had to position and whatnot to get the perspective for the thumbnail from the last YouTube video.
Oh.
That's really funny. Okay.
All right. So, what did you want me to do? Sorry, I was distracted by the Alondai.
No, you're good. I mean, you made a new survival check you made a survival check to determine where you were. So now you need to make a survival check. So that's 11 plus whatever you have to
14.
like redirect your course.
14. So that way instead.
It was 14, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're, you may not end up walking in an exactly perfect line to get back to town, but you definitely get yourself pointed in very close to the right direction and head off that way. So I guess, actually, hold on, I hadn't rolled random encounters yet. Okay. So you march away the rest of the day, really, or at least the rest of kind of like the working day, so to speak, and get back to more or less where you were. You don't end up like directly at the ruins per se, but you know that you still have a goodly ways to go to get back to town. You probably have another 6 hours of marching.
Let's go.
Sorry, what
I
time
think
is
we
it?
should just do it.
Most of us are fully healed up. We should just make a break
Yeah.
for it and go.
Do you want a forced march?
Yeah.
Push on.
Then we all get to rest when we get to town eventually. So
Character can walk for more than 8 hours in a day by making a forced march. Each hour of marching beyond 8 hours, a constitution check of DC 10 plus 2 per extra hour is required. If the check fails, the character takes 1d6 points of non-lethal damage. A character who takes any non-lethal damage from a forced march becomes fatigued. Eliminating the non-lethal damage also eliminates the fatigue. It is possible for a character to march into unconsciousness by pushing themselves too hard.
Ooh.
So we just have to succeed 6 times on our one.
So, yeah, let's go. First one is it's 10 plus 2 per extra hour. So the first one is a DC 12 Constitution check. Not a fortitude save, but a Constitution check. So D20 plus your con score.
Oh, that's good.
14. Oh dear.
6.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
How much longer do we have to go?
Oh, it's plus the score?
Yeah. Well, the con modifier.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. 5.
Oh god. Okay,
Oof.
Lazarus too. So who succeeded?
What's the success
I
again?
did.
12.
Nope. Got an 11.
So only by here succeeded?
Nope.
Okay, so everybody else takes 2 points of non-lethal damage
Right?
and is now fatigued. So you can keep marching.
We should probably rest. I'm feeling pretty tired.
How far off are we?
And
You would
fatigue
have
is-
5 more hours to go.
Fatigue is minus 2 strength, minus 2 dex.
Yes.
Well, if we have to do this for 5 more hours, we should probably just take a break. At the rate this is going, we're not going to be able to fight anything if we run into anything.
I don't think we should ever force march if we have to go farther than an hour away, to be honest. So, yeah, I think we should just ride.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. Like, there's no outright penalty for it. But you like anybody who continues to fail is going to get more exhausted and take more non-lethal damage. So you can do it.
It's that temporary score that sucks.
If we keep this up, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
It's non-lethal damage.
I will die.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, like in character, you totally say that. I'm just like making sure
yeah.
you know as a player. Okay, so do you want to find a place to pitch a tent out here in the woods?
I say no tent in the event that we have to vacate.
I agree.
Keep pushing.
Yeah, everybody else just ignores Alendite and starts like setting up their bedrolls and stuff. You know, you go and try and find a little spot that has like some extra bushes or whatever, so you can make it as defensible as you can. But there definitely aren't just handy ruins anymore. Dang it, hold on. Trying to grab your minis on the forest map. It really wants me to pick up the hag's body too, for some reason. Yeah, whatever they did before we played last session that made it so the freaking like the thing that truncates like the height of stuff around you resets periodically is super annoying.
Yeah.
So everybody should be together, but it did some weird things when I tried to move all of you. So I think you can, you double click on your icon, I think.
I'm on a tree.
And then it moves you. Put you guys on trees? Okay. Nope. There we go. Drop you down there.
Ah!
If you hit the little lock next to the green thing, it'll never move after you move it.
Okay.
Just-
That's good to know. I still feel like it was a change that did not need to be made, but that's good to know.
Yeah, no, I noticed that and immediately put the lock on. I was like, no, that's annoying.
All right, so what are we doing for watches? Same thing?
Yeah.
Can I do the trance thing this time?
I'll take second watch.
Lazarus just kind of like laughs at you. He's like, yeah, I was wondering what you were doing.
I was tired, okay?
And just kind of like grabs your hand and like, not forcefully, but just kind of gives you like a tug to like sit down next to him. So are we doing
Tension.
Alendite on watch first?
No, I'll take second watch.
Okay, who's watching first?
I guess I will watch first since everyone else is trancing.
Okay. Make us
I'll
a
take
spot
last
and
watch.
listen check.
Talespire just crashed.
That's a 1.
Oh no.
I will be back.
Okay.
But my listen is a 17.
Okay. Honestly, although we use the term watch, which brings up images of looking, having a good listen is probably more important than a good spot most of the time.
Mm.
Oh, that's true. There was a 1 there, right?
Yep.
All right, right around the... It's not foggy anymore or anything like that. It's just a bit overcast. But it's calm. There's not any significant wind or anything to impede your sense of sound. And really kind of like right as you're getting up to go and shake awake the next group of people, you hear like sounds coming through the underbrush a ways away.
Well, whoever I'm waking up next, I let them know I hear noises before I actually go to bed.
Say again, I'm sorry.
I'm assuming Alondite's taking next watch, so I just tell him that when I wake him up.
Okay.
And pull out a dagger as I do so.
But then you're otherwise going to sleep.
No, I'm gonna wait for him to wake up and investigate.
Oh, so you're getting him up to like help you.
Yeah.
Got it. I thought, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, he'd be next on watch anyway,
Right.
I
so
thought you were getting me up and pulling a dagger to my throat.
we're not that far gone, friend.
Give it a week or two.
Okay. So yeah, Alendite, you're awoken by Skabosh, who appears to be concerned.
Okay. I kind of quietly say, like, how urgent is it? Do I have a second to put on armor, or are we investigating this?
I don't know. I hear noises in the underbrush over that way.
Okay. I grab my shield and I kind of get in front of the group. And do you want to go in and take a flanking to investigate, or?
I'm gonna move silently first. Be a total 20, I think. Total 20 for a hide. I don't know if I'm being observed or not, so we're just gonna go with it. I do not move silently, but I'm hidden. As far as I know. But yeah, I move around to the side of where I think the noise is coming from.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna pick up and like throw a stone sort of in the direction to like distract or do something to see if it startles it.
Okay. Make a listen check. Well, both
My
of you, I suppose, that are
favorite.
awake.
16 total.
4.
It's hard to hear through the helmet, you know? That extra.
Yeah.
He doesn't have his helmet on, though.
All right. So as you start to kind of make your way, you know, with a natural one, like you're making enough noise that you're aware of how badly you're doing. So you kind of like push your way through, you know, like a fern or something like that ends up like snapping and like knocking over some sticks or something on the ground. Like, it's not cacophonous, but it was definitely not the stealth that you were shooting for. And then as that happens, Allendike grabs like a rock or a stick or something off the ground and kind of like throws it off into the forest to try and like distract whatever was out there. And then Skabosh, you can hear like whatever it is abruptly stops moving, or whatever. You said you got a 16.
Yeah.
Whatever they are appear to abruptly stop moving.
What direction are they in? Direction that I last hear them.
Make a survival check. Yeah, you don't know cardinal direction, but you know, like, you know, over there. It's not like you, it's not like your ears are non-functional. You heard them, so you know that way. But just in the moment, you're not you can't say like go west.
I don't know if I'm facing the right way, though.
Yeah, you are. That's what I'm saying. You know relativistically, like you heard them over there, so you can look over there. That doesn't need a check.
Got it. I guess I keep trying to move silently in their direction.
What's that?
I'm gonna keep trying to move silently in their direction.
Okay, we'll go ahead and try again.
Oh, man.
It's better. It's not a 1. It's an 8.
Unlucky.
Make a listen check.
Hey, that's better.
Okay. So you hear whispering voices.
Do I recognize the language?
No, but make an intelligence check.
19 total?
It's probably a reasonably good bet that it's Goblin again. You know, you've spent a lot more time around goblins in the last 10 day or so than you ever had previously in your life. So you're starting to, you know, it's just like, I can't speak German, but if somebody starts talking in German, look, I've got a reasonably good shot at identifying it as German.
But I head back and tell Alondite we need to get the others up. We got goblins.
Okay. I start rousing the group. And, okay, how long, donning armor is...
It takes like a minute or 5 minutes. It takes a long time.
If someone helps you, it's half the time, right?
Correct.
It's just a situation.
I'm not sure if they're aware we're here yet, so we might have time to don your armor.
What kind of armor do you have?
Scale mail.
Yeah, donning...
What if I help him?
It's weird. I thought there was like a help person thing, but there really isn't.
Oh.
But you can... So there's donning and then don hastily. So normally it would take... Oh, wait, hold on. And then if the character... Never mind, I see where it is. It's just, it's listed as a footnote in the table instead of in the main section. Yeah, so it cuts it in half.
Who, me helping?
So yeah, a normally donning armor would take 4 minutes or 2 minutes with help, or you can don it hastily, which would take 1 minute or 30 seconds with help. If you don it hastily, your armor check penalty will be 1 point worse than normal until you stop and like put it on properly.
Okay, well, that's better than nothing.
Which direction are they? I'll keep Overwatch while you get dressed.
I just point in the direction I heard them.
Point in a cardinal direction.
Keep my
Well,
eyes
it's
peeled.
essentially in the
crossbow
direction
out.
that I kind of came back from, so...
What was that, sweetie?
Wouldn't it be in the direction that I came back from?
Yes.
Does Alondite disappear for anyone else when you move the green thing down to get rid of trees?
Yeah,
I think he
he's
might be
floating
up
right
on,
now.
Yeah, he's probably up on a level.
Yeah, he's like on something. Can't
Well,
see what it is.
Lazarus
Lazarus is the one floating, not me.
Oh, really?
Well-
I see Alondite floating. Well, I did. You moved.
Yeah, both of them were floating for me.
But yes, Lazarus was on like a burn or...
Okay.
Oops. Well, whatever.
Let's access that now.
So yeah, I'll keep my eyes peeled with my crossbow out while they put his pants on.
What direction did you
So-
point?
Doing
This one?
donning hastily and then with assistance, is that like
30 seconds.
a quarter speed?
Well, so don hastily by yourself is a minute, and then you do it at half as much time if you have help.
Okay, and
So
so that
it's
would only be that'd be
5
1
rounds if we were acting in combat, but we're not right now. So everybody go ahead and we'll make kind of like a collective group move silently for just kind of like waking each other up, getting armor on.
There we go, an 18 to move silently that time.
That's is that a natural one? I can't see what I rolled. I rolled.
Yours was an 18 by
You
here.
remember, you can look at the history.
Yeah.
18 for
I just
me.
did X, right? So it'd be. I got 21.
Dang. Okay, 18, 21. What else?
This is a what roll?
Move silently.
Move silent.
Oh yeah.
You don't have your armor check penalty right now.
I
because you
don't have it?
armor.
Okay, well that's a 2.
Yeah, because there's no way to like progressively roll your armor check penalty, right? Unless I was going to have you do like 20 rolls, but that's not really what we're doing right now. So, all right, you know, Alondite's kind of crashing around like he normally does, but you guys all kind of take turns. Like one person kind of like puts his armor on, and then he like kind of starts to make noise again, and then one of you like kind of like puts your hand over his mouth, like stop talking, like kind of managed to make your way through, like, getting everybody up.
Mm-hmm. How far into the rest? This is like the first watch, isn't it?
It's between watches.
So
Yeah,
So it's
essentially,
4 hours.
she was
4
about to
hours
start
in.
waking up the people that were going to be on watch next.
Okay. So would we have our rest if we were
If
going
you
to
were
watch?
trancing, yes, you have rested.
Okay. Okay, good. That's
Sweet.
good.
All right.
So people who are trancing will no longer be fatigued and have those negatives.
Correct.
And
Yes,
did we
and
get,
would have regained one more hit point if you were still missing some.
Yeah.
and did we get rid of the one hag sickness?
Yes, you would if you have rested via trancing at this point, you would regain one more point of strength. Also, sweetie, in the thing, you want to put Bahir at full, Lazarus at
I'm working on it.
8 out of 9, and Rubato full. Okay.
I took 2 damage from the fatigue, so I'm actually still down 1.
That was non-lethal damage though.
Oh right. I was gonna die, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see anything off in the distance in the direction they were pointing?
Make a spot check if you haven't already.
Spot of 8.
No, she did tell you that they were quite a ways away. She just happened to kind of like catch some sounds on the wind, sort of thing.
Right here. I think I see them over there. Wait. I think that's a squirrel.
No. Squirrel in the jungle.
Okay, so everybody's up. Armor is donned hastily, if that ends up mattering. You're relatively confident that you've been relatively quiet. What's the plan?
Sneak up on the sound. Or do we want to just leave?
How far away are we again? We're like 5 hours up.
From town? Yeah, you have about 5 more hours to go.
Well, we're not encountering them yet.
Well,
I
they're
say we-
northeast. We're going southeast.
I say we make
should
it for
at least
town.
find out what direction they're moving. Because if they're going,
Well, I guess it's up to you, but remember, you did identify that they were goblins. Well, that they were speaking goblin, I guess. Make of that what you will.
Yeah, I heard Goblin speak. I think we should head for town. If we've got the advantage of not being encountered with them yet, and they're further off from us, and probably we'd be traveling the opposite direction.
sounds good.
Okay, so Skabosh is arguing to try and avoid them. Anybody else?
I'm good to avoid.
Avoid.
I say we take them head on. We can take them.
Yeah, we gotta go fight them. We need the XP.
No, we should head to town and get reinforcements.
You know, in general, I try and do a relatively minimal amount of role playing for somebody that's not here, but I think actually Lazarus would speak up rather hungrily. Actually, like he wants to go and fight. Also,
Yeah, I think that's fair.
you guys are still outnumbered. It's 3-2. So if you want to kind of, you know, force their hand, like it still sounds like the party overall wants to leave. But
Do we really want to try and fight them when we have their spellcaster with us? We should probably try and
This
get
is
the
a
spellcaster
liability.
away
We have
from
a
them.
hostage situation.
Yeah. Is the spellcaster still sleeping? After
oh
all
yeah,
this?
But we
Okay.
need to get it out of here. If they somehow
We gave it a
rescue
good
it, we are in
thwack
trouble.
last time. So. I'll throw it over my shoulder and start moving.
okay, yeah. You don't have to actually like run your characters around unless I guess roll really high here. But overall, that'll just be something that'll happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Who wants to roll? Do you want to roll the survival, or do you want me to?
I can lead the way. I know where we're going.
I don't believe you, Rupert.
Nah, I really think Bahir should handle this.
He's got his hands full at the moment, though.
Here, go ahead.
Okay.
Probably good to have him mostly in front anyway.
The 16 for how we get back.
Okay. So you get yourselves pointed in the same direction and, you know, broadly just kind of hope that the goblins aren't also going in that same direction, or the presumed goblins. And you head off. It's worth pointing out that anybody who didn't trance there, which would be Skabosh, actually I guess just Skabosh, right? Would still be forced marching because she hasn't rested yet. So go ahead and make a DC 14 con check.
Oh, you did. Let's go.
Nice. Okay. So you are still fatigued, and you do still have 2 points of non-lethal damage because you haven't rested yet. But you march for the next hour.
Could you ride on like Alondite's back or something?
Probably not.
I'm pretty sure that would be another level of encumbrance for him.
If I wasn't wearing armor, yes.
Well, you'd still have to carry that armor, though.
What about Lazarus?
Oh, I guess I see what you're saying, though. You could take the armor off to get full move speed and then carry her to have reduced move speed. Yeah. I see what you're saying.
Let's cross that bridge.
Lazarus is, not especially strong, I don't think.
If I end up not being able to continue, probably, but...
Okay. So go ahead, Skabosh, and make a DC 16 con check to force march.
Nope.
Okay.
If I pass out, I'm gonna have to be carried.
I give the goblin, which is smaller, to Lazarus, and then I carry.
You take 3 points of non-lethal damage. So as that's going on, and Skabosh is starting to look, pretty bedraggled, Lazarus is like, "Wait, I have an idea," and walks over and lays hand on you and heals you.
Oh, sweet. So we're what, 2 hours out still?
It's worth pointing out, from a rules standpoint, eliminating the non-lethal damage also eliminates the fatigue.
Good.
So yeah, you can kind of use magic to abuse force marching a little bit. Obviously, he can't do that endlessly, and if multiple people start failing saves, then he's not going to be able to keep up with that. But
I'm the only one force marching.
Yeah, exactly. For the specific circumstance, it's actually
Alright, how much further out are we?
So you'd have... That was your second roll, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have 3 more rolls. So then it would be a DC 18.
Nope, I failed that one.
Okay.
I'm gonna fail the other two,
Well, natural 20 save always succeeds. Remember, that's how
True.
Lujime succeeded on a DC, whatever it was, 2047 con save.
Right.
You take 3 points of non-lethal damage and are fatigued. Go ahead and roll again for a DC 20. Con check.
Nope.
No. Alright, that's 3 more. So you're not actually unconscious yet, right? Because you have 8 health.
Yeah.
But you are now exhausted, which means half move speed, although it's actually barely slower than Alendite goes normally anyway.
Okay. No. Who has the least amount of weight on them? I'm taking off my armor and I'm carrying her.
Probably me.
Okay. Take my armor, please.
I don't know if I can actually carry your armor, but sure, I'll take his armor.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into the nitty gritty of that. You're probably overburdened with the armor, so that's gonna slow you down. But you guys are already going slowly anyway. So Alendite picks up Skabosh, and you guys trudge on. I'm going to say that we have 2 more checks to make. There would have been 1, but I think that's fair. But Skabosh, actually no, there's no more checks if you're carrying her. Sorry. So it takes 2 more hours, which means instead of getting into town, you know, kind of first thing in the morning, it's definitely more like breakfast time.
Mm-hmm.
But you do eventually drag yourselves into Capstone.
Ugh.
Oh, we got here just in time, I think.
Oh, you guys are lucky. As well as I was rolling on random encounters, I was rolling inversely poorly for all of their like perceptive checks.
Yay!
And on the one that was probably most critical, you guys did really well as a group on Move Silently. So, if you didn't believe it before, the wilderness is dangerous. There are goblins afoot.
But conveniently, the dice are rolling terrible for all of us.
Well, your ones have all come at relatively opportune times, and you've had some very good rolls when it counted. Though I think your effective rolls have been quite good.
Would I know, like, if I didn't want to bring this goblin to the church, would I know someone else who would want to interrogate this goblin for the town?
I know the snakes would want to.
Just the name the snakes makes me not want to give the goblin to them, but
It's my guild.
So right after finding the snake altar that the goblins and this strange sort of goblin-looking creature were all presumably worshipping at, Skabosh is like, yeah, we should take the body to the snakes.
The town, you said this place is under like martial law, so like the town watch would probably be like the same thing as like the military of the town, right? Like the
Yes,
people
yeah.
guard.
So normally speaking, there would be a separate watch, and well, actually, normally there wouldn't be a militia because most of the towns don't maintain a militia. But
Mhm.
the normal structure here would have been a militia and a town watch. But because they're under martial law right now, the militia is sort of absorbed the watch. Like, you know, it's not like
By here.
disassembled, but it's all kind of operating under that one banner.
My people have been working underground to try and defend the city from the goblins. Any information this goblin would have would be very useful for that endeavor.
Out of character to answer your question, yes, there are a couple of people that you guys have spoken to. There's Horace, the watch captain, who both Bahir and Rubato talked to inquire about their families. There's Randall. Double check this note so I don't misspeak here. Yeah, there's Randall, who was Ava's captain. Well, is Ava's captain that I don't think everybody met with, but some of you did.
Mhm.
And then there's Silas, who I need to double check my notes, but I believe that was the person that you guys
Militia
originally reported that to. Yeah, the militia captain that briefly deputized Alan Dite to watch his post when you guys first discovered, you guys first communicated your discovery of the Goblin Sage.
Would Horace be the highest ranking person out of those 3?
No, Captain Leona, I think.
They're all peers, actually. They're just in charge of different things. They're all captains.
Okay.
So I know Captain Horace, so I'd rather take it to him.
Very
I've
well.
talked
I'm gonna
to
go
him
meet with my
before.
guild leader.
Well, I would rather take this to Leona, Paladin of Bana.
How do we know he'll make it there?
Well, I would also rather not give it to the church because they're not exactly the ones who are in charge of the town. And I think this is something that's more what's the
The
word?
entire group and reason why this band was created was because of the church. We're
I head off to
here
the guild
because of
safe
this.
house.
I mean,
Can I follow you?
Okay. Well, yeah, while you guys
Who,
are
me?
arguing, Skabosh leaves.
Yeah, go for it. You can come with me.
I follow Skabosh.
I do my usual. Look at the.
But here, go ahead and make a... I know you don't have it trained, or at least I don't think so, but you can still get up to a 10. Make a knowledge local check.
do I get the +2 from like running around the capstone with it?
No,
Or-
you're not trying to wayfind right now. This is like a custom.
Oh.
It's trying to see if you know about local customs.
I rolled 17.
Okay. But you don't have a skill point in it, right?
No, I don't.
So
Hey, look, there's a horse here.
10 is the best result that you can get. So most not most skills, but a lot of skills that you can't use untrained, you just can't do at all. But knowledge is the only one that's kind of this weird halfway in between, where you can do it, but no matter what you roll, the best result you can get is a 10.
Okay.
It's like the only one that you can partially do. So, do with this what you will. I'm not trying to tilt your hand, but just so you know, so in character, you are aware that although the church is not directly in control of the militia, there is a lot of intermingling, and broadly speaking, a high enough ranking clergyman is like just kind of automatically deputized to assume control of troops if they deem it necessary to do so.
I haven't
Okay.
fully left yet. You can still follow me.
Hey, Ska.
You've probably seen it happen before. Usually it's for relatively trivial stuff like, whatever, like just a cleric. Because you've been in the kingdom for a little while, right? Like the city that you're at is inland, so this isn't where you landed when you first came here. So, you've seen a cleric like go to a guardhouse and muster up some people to go and do something or whatever. It's not necessarily common, but it's not unheard of either.
Okay.
So, TLDR, what he's saying is true. You can do with that what you want, but like your character knows that there is a degree of truth to what he's saying.
We should steal that horse.
We're not stealing a horse. The guild does not condone theft anymore. Protect the town. We don't thieve.
Personally, I would trust the town's government to handle this more than the religion.
But the government
no,
is...
Skabosh,
they're-
you said you
they're-
left.
Is the government.
yeah, I'm gone.
So this is between Alendite, well, and I guess Lazarus and Bahir.
Yeah, we already
Okay.
left.
Come along, Rubato.
Yes, ma'am.
Lazarus just kind of looks at both of you and is like, I don't care. You guys figure something out. I don't feel good. And I'm going to go take care of some personal stuff. And just excuses himself.
Okay. We can drop it off at the church, I guess. But I am going to go tell Horse what we found and tell him to go to the church.
Okay. So Alendite is going to take the...
I'm gonna take the goblin with Alendite
Okay.
and drop it off at the church and then go get Horus.
Got it. Okay. We've probably got, an hour to an hour and a half of play left. So let's take one more stretch and bathroom break, and then we can come back and roleplay through that, and then kind of kick off what our next activity is going to be after that conversation. That ended up being a very, very nearly very dangerous situation for the party there a couple of times. I rolled a 93 for the first random encounter at the ruins, and then I rolled 100 for the second one out in the forest. So I didn't necessarily anticipate that happening, but I think it definitely drives home the point that this is a problem in the area. So well done to our players for making it through that. I was very worried when they were talking about going to combat. You guys arrived at town the morning of the 13th day of mid-spring. Weather's pretty good today. No issues, really. Although, honestly, that fog probably ended up saving your butt. That was just random. My weather's not only mean.
Just weather.
All right, so I guess scene is Bahir and Alendite showing up to the church with Leona to deliver this goblin sage, and she's the one that you guys dropped the book off with as well. So, you know, ultimately this probably does make the most sense.
Not all crazies up here. So we present the goblin, who is the spellcaster, to Leona. I described the situation that this was the spellcaster using the spells. I also described the situation in which we found him, or it.
It is a he, yes.
Did you check, Alan?
I'm not going to lift up its robes.
So this was northwest of us, right? Where we found all the stuff.
Yes, the first group of
The
well,
cave.
you mean where you found the cave? Yes.
How
was
far northwest? Like a day? Day and a half northwest of us.
Yeah, a little over. Well, distance-wise, probably a little less than a day, which I always forget. I think is 24 miles. But because it's through the forest, it takes a little over a day just because of getting through underbrush and whatnot.
I kind of explained to her, to Leona, a great concern that I have with my connections after encountering these goblins. That the spellcaster had well, it was just sleep, but I'm gonna assume just that it was something else that had affected me and my connection to Bana, and the hag had made it worse. So I present that situation and put the head on the table to say that this is the hag, or what we think is just an oversized goblin that they were worshipping, saying that they were calling this mother, and as sort of as a figurehead or leader type. And then I also show them her, Leona, my notebook and the picture that I drew of the altar, and I have that posted in Discord if you want to take a look at that.
Ooh.
Sure. And then just really quickly, I was in the process of double checking the mileage when you were saying the very first part of that. It actually turned out really good.
Rad.
Can you repeat what you said kind of at the beginning when you were telling her about like your powers and whatnot? Like what context did you give her for that?
That so when we encountered the spellcaster, that it had casted some spells on me. It was just sleep, but I would construe it as sort of just any sort of spell that had disconnected me from Bana, and I would take that as sort of the reason why I'm losing connection with Bana, and that the hag made it even worse with its sort of sickening aura and whatever.
Okay. So you guys come, marching into her office, like goblin over one shoulder, like giant goblin, ? Head in bag, like kind of, well, not really marching, I suppose, so much as nearly stumbling.
Yeah.
but you show up and she just kind of looks you up and down, and you would have been greeted at the door by somebody much just like a altar boy or whatever, who leads you back, and she meets you partway through the building, just kind of looks you up and down and nods and leads you back to her office. And before you kind of launch into all that, she just looks at you squarely and says, Alan Dite, we didn't get off on a great foot, and I don't know if we'll necessarily always see eye to eye, but you guys have done some good work. And actually, like, indicating the book, right? Because you left that with her. And then she kind of, like, gestures broadly and, says to, like, invites you to tell her what's going on. So it's certainly not a warm welcome, but it's at least... it's cordial. She's trying to kind of move past events. She may not be the warmest NPC that you'll ever talk to, but she's concerned with doing what she should do and cares more about that. So good work matters to her. So you fill her in on all of that, and she interjects here and there as you're going piece by piece. Like when you're talking about I guess. So when you're talking about having been put to sleep, you're talking about the first fight that you guys had with the goblins, right? Okay. So when you mention that, she definitely kind of furrows her brow and says, I've never heard of anything that would behave that way. There are like fields of null magic or areas of blight or that kind of thing, but usually those things are only effective in a specific location. I'm not aware of anything where that's like a lingering effect, but this goblin magic also is new as far as we're aware, and we learned a lot actually from the book that you guys brought us, and holds it up, because that wasn't just and then kind of like puts the pieces together, and with it in her hand, and kind of like points at the goblin that's that at least was lugged over your shoulder. I don't know what you guys did with it in the meantime. It was like, presumably this was his. This wasn't just his spell book. It was also whatever a goblin would call a journal, and we don't really know what to make of it yet, but there, and certainly it wasn't daily by any means, but we have good reason to believe that the goblins came from somewhere else, and that it may or may not have been a willing migration. It sounds like they may have been forced out of their old homeland. And then, as you make your way on to talking about the more recent confrontation and how you guys got your captive and whatnot, I'm assuming somewhere along the line, one of you is going to offer her this head as well.
Yeah, I have it in my inventory.
I will also interject that he is leaving out a section of the story about our journey to this next part.
Like, are you going to spill, or are you just kind of being obtuse?
Oh, I'm being obtuse. I'm, like, looking at Alondite to tell her. I'm not going to tell her. But I'm saying it in front of her, so he has to, kind of, sort.
Okay. And you're doing that before we get to the part where we're talking about Mother?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we got a little out of order here. So... Okay, yeah, I mean, she's...
Probably after he talked about his powers and things not working anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, she kind of raises an eyebrow and is like, what? That doesn't really give me much to go on. What does this mean?
It's a little concern. It was a peon.
Make a diplomacy check.
Alonde, or the hero give Alonde the dirty look.
7 plus diplomacy is 2, so 9.
9.
Nine.
So you try and just kind of brush it off, and she actually like wags a finger at you and is like, "We're just getting off onto a better foot here. Don't test my patience. This is incredibly important, and it's of the utmost importance that I have a full like counting of events here."
Upon setting camp, there was one scout that had compromised our location. He was a captive, and we liberated him of his soul.
There's no such thing as a we in that decision.
I liberated him of his soul. I searched into my feelings and asked Bana for her judgment and told me to smite. And so I did, according to Bana.
She kind of pauses. And like kind of thinking, kind of like eyes up into the corner of the room sort of thing. Searching around the room. It's definitely like deep in thought. And then her eyes after probably a good solid like 10 or 15 seconds, her eyes kind of go wide, and then she says, "I see." That was the wrong inflection. She says, "I see. We can talk more about this later. Continue with the briefing." And then, you guys have the further conversation about the fight, and then and then eventually she asks to see the mother's head.
I think Alonde has it.
Yeah, I present the head.
Okay. She looks it up, and she grabs it, turns it around, kind of looks at it, sets it down and on her desk. She's not grossed out by it, but there's a bit of a look of disgust on her face, just like, this, like, I don't want this thing here. And she says, "I don't know what this is. It's not a goblin, for sure. It's way too big. It's like the features are kind of sort of similar, but this is not the same species. I'll have to have somebody else look at this."
Could you also have that same person test this vial of green liquid? It was at the altar of this, and I present the picture, the book of the altar.
Right. she, just kind of shrugs, like, sure, and, like, puts those things together and kind of, like, pushes them off to the side of the desk. And then kind of says, all right, and now to the goblin in the room. What has it told you? All of this still feels like we're missing a couple pieces to the puzzle. What's the deal here?
We have not gathered any information with it yet. We have left it in your care for that.
She, eyebrows kind of go up. She's like, you said that you captured this on the 11th, right? How do you have no information?
We were pushed for timing. There was troop movements of goblins that come in the dozens now, or at least by large numbers. We had to make quick movement. And I would prefer that you get the word straight out of its mouth.
She nods in agreement to your intelligence. She says, yes, several of the scouts have communicated to us that they've seen fewer groups of goblins, but they seem to be moving in larger numbers. That's been kind of slowly happening for a while now, but when we first heard of it, it didn't, who knows kind of what variance there may be, or maybe it was just random chance or what have you, but we've had very few reports of smaller groups in the last 10 day or so.
Mm.
So you're like presenting it to her then?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, she's not going to take it herself, but she'll, she sticks her head out of her office door and like calls over someone to come and get it. It takes a minute or two. Somebody else comes over and gets it, and the church itself doesn't have any form of like incarceration or anything like that, so it's not going to be held here. But she dispatches another paladin to like take it to the jail.
May I inquire as to where it will be held?
She kind of sighs and says, yes, at this point, for better or for worse, you are in the middle of this. It's not going to go to the main town jail with drunkards or brawlers or what have you. We have kind of a separate area where we keep more sensitive matters, and we'll send it to one of the guard houses.
I think you wanted to talk to Alonda about something after we were done reporting to, so I will leave you to it, and I will go to find Horace wherever he is.
Okay. And is, for the sake of the show, so to speak, do you want that conversation to be like public, or do you want that to be something that you and I do?
I'd ask the audience, but I don't know.
No, I mean, it's your character. Like, do you want there to be some mystery there?
In the know?
Let them have some mystery, I guess.
I'm fine with either. Like, it's your character. Whatever's most interesting to you.
Yeah, let them have some mystery.
Okay.
He doesn't want to hear want us to hear him getting spanked.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay,
Get that boy.
so Bahir excuses himself from the room and, probably essentially follows out the person that's taking the goblin to incarcerate it. And the scene fades to black as Leona and Alandite start discussing matters of faith.
Like I leave and the door goes clunk, and then you zoom out of the closed door.
Okay, so what is it that you're hoping to accomplish with Horus?
I just wanted to let him also know what's going on right away before, like, oh, that goblin, yeah, we questioned him like weeks ago, you know. just so he knows and like where he can, like, if he wants to do his own questioning, where to go find the goblin.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, so we can role play through that if you want to, but that seems like we kind of mostly covered those bases already, so I don't think it necessarily needs to be repeated. But broadly speaking, he thanks you. He says, I knew bits and pieces of that, but Leona's been the one heading this up because she was the one that collected the evidence from you. So thank you for bringing me up to speed. The paladins aren't necessarily always the most forthcoming when it comes to kind of keeping everybody in touch, so I appreciate it. And I'm definitely keeping tabs on this. Obviously all of us are, but I've been a little bit more involved than some of the other captains, so thank you.
No problem. And then I will leave him to it, and I'll go back to the church because I want to know where we go get paid for this.
Okay.
These are the questions.
All right. How about Skabosh? What would you like to try and accomplish with
I'm trying to talk to my
your
leader.
guildmates?
I'm trying to talk to my leader to report in.
Okay.
So,
And I'm trying to follow.
so yeah, we're at the door doing the secret door knock.
Are you trying to surreptitiously follow Skabosh?
No, I told
or
him to come
you're
with me.
going with her?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, make a diplomacy check to try and convince the door guard to not to let you in. I mean, that's easy enough, but to try and go find your leader and bring you to him.
Listen, buddy, I don't think you understand just quite how important this is. You really need to get us to the right place, okay?
I don't remember exactly how to pronounce it, but the person, you find
Branabosh.
this watchman who's just kind of undescript. What's that?
Anbosh.
Pronounced
Bron.
Braun. Okay. But yeah, you wanna speak directly to
Yes.
Braun. And did you roll?
That was a 12. But I had told this guy that I was going out to try and collect information, so hopefully that could help. I could just say, I've got...
Well, I mean, the doorman's not necessarily always the same
True.
person.
So I just...
He's like, yeah, not really going to leave my post to go and hunt him down right now, but you're welcome in, and I think he's supposed to be due back soon.
We'll go in and wait then.
Sure. And yeah, it doesn't take a super long time. You wait maybe an hour or so, and then Braun kind of... He doesn't see you at first, so he just kind of goes marching through the common area where you are.
Well, I'm technically a high operative to him, so... I am.
Well, I know, but he didn't see you. He's preoccupied.
Well, I try to wave him down.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough. Yeah, he turns around and gives you a bit of a smile and kind of opens his arms out to you, not inviting you in for a hug, but it's a welcoming gesture. And kind of motions you to follow him to his
I
office.
motioned for Rubato to come with me because he was a witness to everything, and they tend to like to have cooperating stories.
Yeah, of course. I've got questions of my own.
I just kind of give a little bit of a bow and just introduce Rubato as one of my colleagues now who's assisting in hunting down and gathering information about the impending goblins. And I put on the table the crystal and the piece of snakeskin and let him know, like, we found a spell casting goblin in a cave. There was a... Did we know it was a hag afterwards? Okay, there was...
No, I'm just using
There
that
was
out
some kind of
character,
a swamp monster that attacked us and did some magical damage. There was a bowl with a liquid that burnt my skin when I tried to take some out. Rubato might have a vial.
A vial of that, yeah. I poorly copy her bow and provide one of the vials.
We pulled this crystal out of an altar that was below what looked like a serpent, but it's not a serpent I've seen. It had a hood around its head and very long fangs, and it was green with gold metallic looking scales on it. I'm troubled by all this, but I don't know what any of it means.
He takes all this in. Sorry, I don't know why I'm a little off my game today, but after he seats you down, he's not like just jumping up and down for joy or whatever, but he's excited to see you. He's like, I'm sorry I missed you last time you were here. Marlon filled me in a bit on what was going on after you stopped by last time. It sounds like you're doing great work so far. You introduce your friend Rubato to him. He chit-chats briefly, but kind of wants to cut to the chase, so you fill him in on all of that. And did you say you offered him one of the vials?
Yes.
Okay.
Be very careful with this. It burnt my skin.
I haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet. I haven't had a chance to inspect it and really figure out what it is yet, but I figured with everything she's telling you, it could be beneficial to you too.
So he takes the vial from you. Yeah, I'm assuming you have some sort of cork stopper or whatever for it. Pops it open, kind of like wafts it around. Doesn't seem to be like affected by that. Kind of like narrows his eyes, like holds it up to the light a little bit. It's it's pretty translucent. You can't like clearly see through it, enough to you couldn't like read a page on the other side or anything, but you can clearly see through it.
I suspect that these goblins might have been worshipping at this altar, but I cannot tell. But these crystals were glowing, and when we removed them, they stopped glowing.
Yeah, when you mentioned the part about them worshiping, he kind of like he's still like looking at the vial of acid, and he kind of like waves his hand. And he says, the church can deal with that part." But and then when you mentioned about the crystals, he's like, that, however, sounds quite valuable.
The cave we found, there's still some crystals there. It's about a day and a half through the brush to the northwest of here.
Don't you have one?
I have a crystal, but there's more, and there's more stuff there.
No, I know. I'm asking you out of character. Like, are you? So you have one of them?
I gave him the crystal, and this is a piece of the skin off of the snake serpent thing. I believe it had once been a living creature that they somehow stuffed and put around this totem in order to worship. But I've never seen anything like it. Only heard of it.
So he kind of like starts to mess with the crystal instead as you're talking about that, and then he kind of like stops himself and is like, okay, hold on one thing at a time, and like looks at the vial again, like takes it and just kind of like tips it ever so slightly to, he can't squeeze it, but to try and titrate out just a little bit of the liquid. and it hits his desk, and there's like just a little bit of like fizzing, hissing, and he says, I think this is some kind of acid, which is, you'd think it would be a poison if there's snake memorabilia around and whatnot, but it's too reactive to be a poison. So we can do some more research into it, but I'm pretty confident this is some
They
kind
had
of
it in a
acid.
bowl that had metal, but it wasn't heavy.
Oh, I still have that bowl.
I wasn't going to have you offer it up if you didn't want to, friend, but
Well, I mean, if you wanted to look at it, it's mine though. I'm not giving it away.
okay.
I'm just saying, like he can look at it if he wants. He can
Okay.
have the vial though. That's fine.
So he takes the bowl and kind of looks at it and says, I think from what you've told me, my guess would be if we were to break this open, which it sounds like you don't want me to do, it probably has some kind of wood or something at the core, but wood, of course, would be reactive with the acid, so they've coated it in some kind of metal to so that way it can hold the acid without getting ruined.
Makes sense.
So you're letting him keep that vial?
Yeah, he can keep the vial.
Okay. He just opens a drawer in his desk and slides that in there, and then takes the crystal and just kind of turns it over in his hand, kind of hefts it, holds it up to the light to try and look through it. I'm no wizard, but this doesn't seem to be doing anything right now.
It must have something to do with what it was embedded in.
It's a big crystal, so if nothing else, we, if it doesn't end up having any other use, can probably be sold off to somebody for, maybe somebody will want it.
Could I try something with the crystal?
Sure.
Could I try to cast a spell into it and see if that makes it light up or anything?
Sure. What spell are you thinking?
What did I select today that I could cast into an item? Well, it's either color spray or silent portal, I think. So I'll cast silent portal into it and just see if it would affect the crystal in any way like that. Like maybe there's just some arcana that was pumped into it that would make it glow like that.
Wait, sorry. Which spell did you say?
Silent portal, just to dump some arcana into the crystal to see if it
Got
would...
it. Yeah, so more you want to just expend a spell slot to
Yeah,
use
essentially.
magical
Yeah.
energy. Yeah, that's fine. You wave your hands, kind of say your gobbledygook, and it seems to maybe it just very briefly has the faintest of glows, but it doesn't hold, and it's nowhere near the luster of what it was in the cave.
Interesting.
I also tell Braun that we might want to increase our patrols. We definitely ran into a lot of goblins on the way back to town. Feels like they were following us. It might be getting a lot worse.
So he kind of rocks back in his chair, and he's like, I don't want this to sound like I'm not appreciative of the work that you've done, because you guys have done fantastic work. But believe it or not, I think we have bigger fish to fry. In our experience over the course of the last couple of months, the militia seems to be really focused on the whole goblin issue, and I'm sure this has got them in just about a fit. But we're convinced that that's actually not the bigger threat. There's been a lot of news, some from the militia scouts and a lot from our own folks' research that says that the goblins are still kind of largely disorganized. They're around, they are a problem, but they don't necessarily seem to be like a force.
What about the ones that can cast spells?
Not yet, they're not.
Yeah, that's definitely a new wrinkle in things, but we're getting word that it sounds like the orc problem that that was initially what kicked off the growth of the garrison here, right? And then everyone got distracted when these goblins started showing up. But we have our suspicions that the orcs are actually like mustering a force, like a military force, and that we can't really seem to get anybody that matters to listen to us on this yet, but that seems like it's a bigger issue than a bunch of random goblins doing whatever goblins
They might
do.
not tell me much, but I do have a matter with the church that I want to speak with them about. Maybe they can tell me something about the orcs.
Can you speak up a little bit, sweetie?
I have a matter to discuss with the church here. Maybe I can bring up the orcs as well and see if they can help me with that and get some information and see how we can possibly help them. I'm essentially taking my leave to go talk to the church
Got it.
and offering to gather information about that.
Got it. So, he says, as always, you are trusted here. You're free to pursue this however you wish. If you're working for the captains and they tell you to go and scout or kill goblins or whatever, I mean, that's certainly not doing anyone here in Capstone any harm. But I would press you to consider turning your talents and your group's attention towards helping us investigate what's going on with the orcs. Traditionally, the issues with the orcs have been contained mostly to the south of the river, and we're concerned. My request of you would be to have you go northeast towards the ruins of Old Capstone and make sure that they aren't circling around, or that they aren't encircling the area, because they seem to be much more organized than the goblins do.
I will do my best, but I fear my friend is starting to lose his way, and I don't know if he will listen for that reason.
I says, well, hopefully someone will. I don't have any more people to spare right now. We're trying to track their movements in the south, but I have a hunch that this is important.
I will do my best.
Keep an eye out.
I motion to Rubato, we bow again and then take our leave. And I want to head for Leona.
I wait, I don't leave yet.
When you go to bow, like he gets up and kind of like places his hands on your shoulders and just gives you like an affirming, like, I don't know, jostle, for lack of a better word. It's not a hug, but he goes out of his way to make like contact to like reassure you and says, thank you. There's much more that we could discuss, but this seems pressing.
Before we do go, I have some questions of my own, actually.
He says, any friend or any trusted cohort of Skabosh is welcome here. What can I do for you?
Well, ever since they found me, I've been trying to find my family. The Brios. Alier, Valido, Furbo. We came from the north a while back, and I lost them, and I've been trying to find anybody who could have information on them, and you seem like the type of people who would have information on people. Have you heard anything of my clan, the Brios?
Or any gnomes in the area?
There's quite a few gnomes around here, so I certainly don't know all of them by name, but I'm not familiar with that name.
Any of the Kalidarum?
He's like, the what?
The Kalidarum, it's the group we were. The Brio family was part of the Kalidarum. We hailed from Terra degli Alberi. We left our home in the year what was it? We left our home in the year 2345.
Like he's trying to be in earnest, but as you keep speaking, he's just getting more and more confused, and he's like, I don't speak Gnomish. I guess I don't know any of these words, but that's he almost kind of like holds an aside and is like, do they have a different calendar or something? Like he kind of almost kind of like makes a comment to Skabosh and is like, I have no idea what you're talking about. The year what? The year is 561 by any reckoning that I've ever heard of.
They're from a different area, sir. I can't quite comprehend much of what he tells me from where he's from.
The
year
I'm kind of at a loss. I'm happy to keep an eye out or to keep an ear out for your family. I can't really spare anybody to like investigate that right now, but can you give me anything else to go on? Like what professions do they do? Are they, he's just kind of like grasping at straws. He's like, he thinks you're very weird.
Well, we were alchemists, and we were hunting for artifacts. We were heading south from the woods to hunt for artifacts in this area, and we were looking for a specific artifact. I can't recall anything about it. I'd been lost for a while, but keep your ear out for the name Brio, I suppose. If you hear anything, let me know.
Yeah, I'm happy to do what I can, but you probably, if your folks are looking for artifacts, they're probably on the other side of the lake, around there, going through the ruins. There's not really anything valuable in that way around here. The town's only been here for 10 or 15 years. Is kind of built overnight sort of deal. So I'm not aware of anything valuable around here, but if you go up to the northwestern kind of bank of the lake, there's plenty of gnomes, locals here from Capstone, even the occasional dwarf. Lots of people go artifact hunting up in the ruins.
Pretty booming.
We've been known to make a penny there every now and then again as well, but just don't have the folks to spare for it right now. The whole impending death thing's kind of been a priority.
That's fair. Well, yeah, just if you hear anything, just pass it along. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, he kind of like reaches out to shake your hand, but he's definitely like kind of side-eyeing Skabosh, like, what in the world have you gotten yourself into?
All right, I want to head to Leona.
Yeah, like I said, he's not unkind to you in any way, just very confused.
I follow her out.
Right, we may.
So you said you want to go to
Yeah.
Leona? Okay.
Me too.
You could follow me anywhere, Rubato. We're a team.
I'm right with you.
Doesn't take much for me to. I mean, they probably me being part of the guild, they mind towards me, but I could just. It's urgent. See what they say.
I mean, unless you're specifically identifying yourself as a guild member, I don't know that they would necessarily know that. And your friends are there, so I don't foresee you having any trouble. You know, you're very much involved in what's going on here. She would give you an audience.
I do that then. I had the Leona.
Okay.
Up.
You know, all of that would have taken a while, so I'm assuming after finishing with Leona, I'm assuming Alandai would just kind of like be, you know, somewhere in the church. Or do you think you would go somewhere else after that conversation?
Blondite, are you awake?
Sorry. I'm here. Yes, after that conversation, I would be, I guess I would be just depending on how it went, I would need context on the direction, but I would be in quiet contemplation, just sitting in the temple. Just in thought and prayer. Just kind of waiting for someone to come get me, just quiet.
Yeah, so she, you know, she made some successful deductions based on the conversation that you had with Bahir. And you know, for the sake of not oversharing during the show, since you said you wanted it to be private, but you know, has had a very frank conversation with you, I guess would be the way that I would say that.
Okay.
About kind of the what you told her means, and kind of like what the steps moving forward would be and whatnot.
So, I did what I thought was...
Well, no. I'm not trying to like role play through that with you. You just said
Yeah,
like
no, I'm
what
just
you would
gonna
be doing would depend on how that conversation went.
Just kind of like the wrapping up of it. Just walk out of there, like kind of just like after the leaving of the room, and say I did what I thought was right, and where do we go from here?
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. She like privately, that conversation would have happened. Like she would have, you know, would have.
I'm just
explained
making.
that,
We just were figuring out where you are for me coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. Is I would be in quiet contemplation, just at the temple, just waiting for someone, like, to come and get me.
So then I try and get an audience with Leona. Then I walk in.
And I will be right there with her too.
So yeah, I mean, you wouldn't if you're going to talk to her. I don't know if you would necessarily go out of your way to stop and talk to
No,
Alan
I'm not.
instead.
I'm just going straight to her.
But yeah, you see him there.
All right, well, I slip by to go talk to her.
Okay.
Leona, not sure if you remember me.
Yeah, you know, the two of you, like out of character, the two of you haven't really talked nearly as much as a lot of the other characters have with her, but just, I'm aware that you're traveling with Alandite. What can I do for you?
I'm concerned for Alandite. His behavior late is disturbing me. He's almost militant in his actions, in his conviction that everything that's evil needs to be immediately disposed of without even talking to it.
She straight up like leans back in her chair, like hands behind her head, is like not in a relaxed position, but she's like very contemplative as you say that.
We had a hostage. It was bound. And he used his power to kill it without it having a chance to defend itself. I'm not sure amongst your people, but with my people that would be dishonorable. And it's not Alondite's way. He's not the same.
She kind of purses her lips. Says, "I can see that you're here in good faith, and out of concern for, you know, a member of the faithful, and for that I am grateful. But it would be inappropriate of me to share matters of Alondite's personal faith without his permission. What I will say is there is a time that, you know, there is a practice for justice. There is, you know, sometimes there is even vengeance, but we are better than them. And how we behave and why we do what we do matters. And your friend finds himself at crossroads in his life right now. And it's good that you're here because he's going to need people like you.
If we are better than them, or if you are better than them, how is it that tying a creature up and then killing it is better than them? I need to understand this.
It really shook me to my core.
That is not what I said at all. I said our actions, like the way that we prosecute justice matters, and not being as barbaric as they are is what makes us better.
I believe that the action of killing an unarmed, tied-up creature is very barbaric.
She kind of pauses and says, I can say no more, but I agree.
Very well. There is another matter.
Sorry, what did you say before that?
Very well. There is another matter which I need to discuss with you. Not sure if you are aware, but part of my time with Alondite is because I am essentially doing service to redeem myself. I am a member of the guild. Not sure if you know much about our guild, but we tend to try and help from the underground with the fight with the goblins. And my leader believes that the orcs might be a bigger issue. From the reports of our guild members, it seems that these goblins are actually quite unorganized and in disarray. And the goblins are the true threat.
Or the orcs.
Orcs, thank you. The orcs are the true threat, and the goblins are merely distracting from the true problem.
Make a diplomacy check.
That'd be a dirty 20.
Yes.
He believes they're trying to encircle the town.
She says, as you're first starting to say this, right, you give it the context of I'm a member of the guild. And, like, as soon as you say that, she, her expression becomes a bit more curt. And she kind of sets her jaw a little bit. And you kind of get the sense that she's not being, like, outright hostile, but you're kind of getting the vibe of, like, here we go again. This isn't news to her ears. But as you, as you kind of explain yourself a little bit further, that kind of facade drops a little bit, and she, as she kind of looks you up and down, and she considers how and why you came to her to talk about Alendite, and she says, I suppose even the best of us can get caught up in what we believe to be the best way to do something, or, what we think is the most important. And it's possible that we haven't given enough attention to those rumors. I'm not really involved with the commissioning of sorties, but if you would so desire, I could put in a word, with the, well, I guess him. I could put in a word with Randall to get him to commission a group to go and explore this further. That's probably the best I can do for you.
You wouldn't need to commission the group. We would go.
What's
You
up?
wouldn't need to commission the group. We would go.
She kind of smiles. It's like a visual pat on the head. She says, well, militaries don't operate on good intentions and promises. Like, you could accept the commission, but, like, we need to keep track of who's doing what and when and where and why. So it's nice of you to offer, and frankly, in the context, that would be my expectation, but we do still need to follow the proper channels.
Very well. Turn to Rubato to see if he has anything to add.
Yeah. There was a book you guys have that I'm very interested in getting a hold of and studying for a little bit. I believe that was something we had discussed beforehand.
So you
Or-
can see the book, like, she had it out just recently when she was talking
it's,
about Valentine and whatnot.
Yeah, it's that one right there. There's a...
She kind of lays a hand on it and says, at this point, this is far too important for me to let out of my sight, but I suspected, given your personage and kind of gestures at you, you're not exactly clunking around in full plate, like, you appear to be somebody with some skill in the arcane arts. And she says, I kind of anticipated that you would have some interest in that, and normally, being as you're not a member of the faith, I might be a little hesitant to let you pursue your interests there, but you've done some good for the people here of Capstone, and you're in relatively good company, and frankly, at this point, we have to think outside the box. So, I've commanded the quartermaster to include the scribing of a spell of your choice from the book, if you so choose.
Fantastic. One spell is all I need.
Choose carefully.
Do I make it back like to her like after they're done with the conversation, or?
Yeah, since we're not exactly operating in combat order, I couldn't say exactly when, but yeah, somewhere along the line here, Rubato and Skabosh are in her office, you could make your way back to the temple grounds. It's not a huge building, but there is like a kind of a very modest like kind of garden and seating area outside, and then there's a large main room and a couple of offices and like a small sleeping quarters. So you couldn't just like go back to the sleeping quarters necessarily, but you could be essentially anyone is welcome in like the garden area or in kind of the main like service area or anything like that.
Okay. I will go try to like go like back to what was her name? Leona?
Yeah.
To Leona and be like, oh, I forgot. What are we getting paid? Or, like, you have to give us a
You just like
favor
walk into
for
the
that?
room.
Oh my
I'll like knock on
gosh.
the door. I don't just like walk in. But
Just,
Like,
hey,
Everyone
so
having
money?
serious conversations with Leona.
Right.
Bahir walks in. Hey, when are we getting paid?
I was here earlier.
I forgot to bring that up.
Early.
Okay, so you get there while they're in her office, so, and she doesn't know who's knocking on the door, so she kind of looks over Rubato and Skabosh and says thank you for what you've done, thank you for what you will do. It's refreshing to see people that aren't so bound up in all of this. Is there anything else I can do for you, or kind of gestures at the door that's just been knocked on?
We'll take our leave.
Yeah. Just let me know when I can have my go at that book and scribble some notes.
She says, well, we've commissioned a scribe, so you can let us know what you want. You can look at the book while it's here in my office, and then we have somebody else that will scribe it into your book when you have time to do so.
We may have to discuss some details on that. This book is very private to me. We'll see. We'll work something out. I'm sure we'll get it.
Oh, what if they scribble it while you're looking? They scribble in it in your presence.
We'll figure something out.
All right, we head to the door.
We'll work something out. Yeah, we leave.
Okay.
Which we open the door, and of
grumble a
course, it's
little,
going to be
but we
Bahir sitting out the door. We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you open the door and Rubato's there, like about to knock on the door again.
What are you doing here?
Oh, I just need to talk to her real fast because I need to make sure she doesn't need to give us something for us to go get paid.
Oh, well, we're with him, so we'll just wait for him.
Okay. So, hello again. Sorry to bother you. Do you need to give me like a writ or something for me to give to who's paying us, or?
She kind of sighs a little bit. Says,
Please don't
"Well,
mind him.
we have already made some commitments there, but I suppose a modest amount of coin is could be awarded as well." And yeah, she like scratches out a note for you to take to the quartermaster.
All right. Thank
Is
you
that-
so much.
Is that note for all of us, or
Probably. We should probably go find a Londite.
I mean, you know where Alan
That's
is.
true.
He's out there in the common area.
Let's go see if
Spouting.
he's. Let's go see if he's done contemplating.
While you guys do that, I will go ahead and go.
Nope. You're coming with us.
Okay.
We do this as a group. Londite,
Very well.
kind of poking them back of the head.
ting ting ting? You alright
Red
now?
doesn't have his helmet on right now.
Well, hopefully on his shoulder pad then, not his head.
Is it time to go?
Yeah. You done here?
Probably be more time than this could possibly be given, but for what's been allotted, sure.
Let's go get a drink.
After we get paid.
Yeah, this one's really chomping the bit for some money, so we should probably go to the quartermaster.
That's fair. That's fair. I want my cut too.
I mean, we did the job. We get paid. That's how this place works.
You know, there's goblins and orcs just closing in around us, but we gotta get that money to be able to spend it in the event that, the world doesn't end in 3 days.
That's okay. I'll just take you back to my village if that's the case.
You don't know where your village is.
Oh, I'm sure we can find it. It's up in the north.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, let's just
Mm.
let's just take care of here's money and then go get some drinks.
All of our
You know,
money.
if I wasn't here, you'd all be working for free, is what I'm hearing. So.
I have a guild.
Well, I
Out
don't
of character, I work for horses.
We'll work for horses. All right. So you've been down this road before. It was a different captain that gave you the writ, but it's a receipt to be taken to the quartermaster for
I really
payment.
think that we should give it to a Londite because the quartermaster is kind of his people.
Yeah.
He's kind of in charge of our
I don't
group.
think I'd rather she gives it to him. It was made by a government official.
I mean, the last time I went to go see the quartermaster, it didn't go so well.
All right, let's go. Off we go.
What went wrong the last time you went to the quartermaster?
He Karen-dited.
No, that was at Leona.
I thought it was the quartermaster.
Oh,
They
started
talked
at
to
the quartermaster.
first. Yeah. It told the quartermaster, I want to talk to your manager.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was
Well, okay, yeah, but that wasn't like the main.
that was
meltdown.
the
main-
beginning of the Karen-dite session
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
that led to everything else.
Fair enough. Okay, so who's doing it?
I'll give it to the quartermaster.
Okay.
Yeah, give it to me. I'll go talk to him.
Well, we're all gonna go.
I think you would lose it, Roboto.
All right, let's just go. Come on, come on. Let's stay on track.
Here you go, quartermaster guy or gal.
All right. So the sorry.
One paycheck, please.
Right. So the quartermaster gives you a purse with 30 gold coins in it.
Okay.
as well as this is a little bit awkward with. I guess I'll just have to keep track of this one on the back end, but and also like marks off, right, because Skabosh and Lazarus have like a ledger of their like community service work. So marks off another, a commensurate 10 gold for, I guess for now, just for Skabosh. Somebody will have to tell Lazarus to come and get his own later. And then yeah, I guess this is a thing that would be handled by the quartermaster as well. The quartermaster like goes and like fetches a wizard and kind of like presents him to Rubato and says, this one's not normal, but apparently we're giving you a wizard.
Slave.
Something about copying something down for you. It just says that he's good for 150 gold worth of work.
Okay, where is my wizard?
Right in front of you.
Yeah, no, he kind of went outside the tent and like grabbed somebody and brought them in.
Perfect. Come with me, son. We have work to do.
How many party members are there?
Just some old guy with a beard off the street says, "I am a wizard."
There's what, 4 of us total? 5?
There's currently 4 of you here.
Well, Lazarus is
yes.
part of the party though, right? So there's 5 gold? 5?
Yeah, the total cash equivalent was 50 gold, being 30 in cash and 20 in community service receipts. And then so copying spells is actually super expensive. It's 100 gold per page for writing, and then it's there would be a cost with like you have to pay a wizard to do it if you're not.
No,
doing
I
it
was going to
yourself.
split the purse gold amongst the party members.
Got it. Yes, there's 30 gold of cash.
All right, we each get 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the real prize here is the spell.
Yeah, you can split my 6 amongst you. I'm getting a spell. It's fine.
Yeah, you get your gold too.
Sweet. Well, I'm buying the drinks tonight then.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah, so as far as the wizard goes, I mean, it is actually a wizard. It's not just some random person, but also, there's not an abundance of arcane spellcasters, and they're not exactly giving you an archmage here. This is probably an early 20s, person who's
Like an apprentice.
yeah, like an apprentice level person.
I know more than you, quote. Ron.
Oh, just give the kid a break.
Are you actually saying that to him?
No.
Okay.
No, but I am watching every move he makes. No, you stick to this page in my book. You don't look at the rest of them. We'll talk about that later. That's a different type of payment. You got to do some work for me for that.
Yeah, so I he's just doing his, like you have a job, he has a job, like he doesn't especially care. If anything, this is probably more interesting than what he normally gets to do. So, at the same time, he's not going to like wait around all day for you guys to go and celebrate at the tavern and whatnot. Like he wants to go and do it.
Oh, he scribes first.
Yeah.
We get the drinks after he scribes.
It takes a while, though, for that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think if I read correctly, it's like 24 hours to copy a spell.
It says, drink while you scribe, wild magic.
Okay, fine. Just bring him to the tavern with us.
I'm sure the spell will get copied correctly after 17 shots.
Well,
What
we're
could
not paying
possibly go
for a
wrong?
drink for him. He probably can't even drink yet.
I might pay drinks for him. That might turn out interesting, just like the code is saying. Scribe, drink.
I'm trying to find. I remember it's annoyingly not in the wizards section. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
It's in a separate section on the SRD. In the book, it's in the wizards section. Yeah, process takes 24 hours.
Yeah.
So are you going to try and sit there and watch them yourself the whole time, or do you want to set up a watch? Or
No, I'll send them to the tavern with some coin to buy their drinks, and then I'm gonna sit there and watch him and comment as he work over his shoulder and.
okay,
Oh dear.
all right. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing that says that it has to be 24 straight hours, as far as I'm seeing. Like, so I don't see why that wouldn't be broken up into a couple of sessions. So you know, he's not gonna like force march like Scribe.
To work, son.
There's nothing in him for that. So, you know, it's probably gonna take him a couple of days to get that done.
Yeah, it's fair. I'll bring him back to the tavern after we've discussed how it's gonna go to have a drink with us.
Okay.
And then we'll get to work when we can.
Sure.
But yeah. So we'll meet up. We'll discuss how it's gonna go, and then we'll go get a beer.
Okay.
After a couple beers, I probably get a little more lax around him.
I'm assuming you don't actually want him drunk scribing, though.
No. While that does sound entertaining, and it's not like it's a level 7 spell or something, I would prefer to get my spell.
Right. Right. Okay. Other than just kind of generally carousing at the tavern, is there anything in particular you guys want to do while you're here?
Probably just carouse at the tavern.
Okay.
I don't really have anything I need to do.
I plop down next to a Londite. In my usual spot.
All right. So partway through the night, you actually see Captain Horace comes in, and a lot of you at least have met him. I don't remember if everybody has or not, but those of you that do recognize him. And you know, he's not here on official business or anything. Like, he sits down, like has a drink, like makes his way over to a table, like chats with a few people. And then partway through, like, sees you guys, and you know, and like specifically Bahir, who spent a lot of time talking with him and whatnot over the course of the last couple visits to town.
Mm-hmm.
And comes over and says, you know, I'm glad to see you guys here. It slipped my mind when we were talking earlier, but you know, it didn't sit quite right with me what they wanted to pay you for what you've done for us this time. You know, money's tight, and the penny pinchers are gonna do what they're gonna do. But I pulled some strings, and I've got you guys a little extra something. You know, depending on kind of what your plans are going forward, but on the 20th, the marshal goes back to Killen, and she's not got a guard with her. So if you're interested, I convinced the powers that be that y'all could be kind of her honor guard.
Is Kalan.
Okay.
For those that don't have it handy, of course, he's covering things up. Hold on.
All right.
No, it's fine. It's just where the camera is. Kalen is the tower that guards the pass through the Serpent's Mine Mountains.
Oh.
So
I'm
that's
good with going over
southwest
there.
of you.
So I'm good with going over there.
I think we should take
So
this.
that's a ways away. Today is the 13th, so you've got some time.
Good, because I need some
7
time
days.
for my book.
Klondike, we should take this.
See what we can't clear before then. With what's around town. And then on the 20th.
So yeah, as you chat around, a little bit, and he's excited. Thus far he's liked you guys. As far as he's concerned, you've done good work, and you've, maybe clued him in on some stuff that he might not have otherwise heard about from the paladins and whatnot. So he tells you a little bit more about kind of what's going on, and in addition to this being like a normal routine trip for the marshal, she's also currently escorting us like a small handful of kind of like regional businessmen and minor nobles and whatnot, because they were out here at Capstone essentially because she's trying to convince them to spend more money on the militia. So their visit is like winding down, and she's going to be traveling back with them to the garrison at Kalan. And so, like, that's the group of people that you would be escorting.
Do I know where Kalen is?
On the map, it's in. real life.
No, Rubato does not know where Kalan is.
I would have went past it when I came to Capstone, right?
Yes, yeah, everybody else would have. It's really functionally the only way in and out. That's the reason why it's there. Anybody that
road or by
wants to, what's that?
Will this be by? I'm asking if it's by road or by boat.
I kind of neither. There isn't really a road per se, but it will be overland. And anybody that has it can make a knowledge local check.
Can I make one to get 10?
You can. It's probably not something you're going to get an answer
Nice.
for with 10.
Okay.
That will be 22.
22. Okay. I'm assuming somewhere along the line you will fill the party in on that. But the command structure is like foot soldier, captain, commander, and then knight marshal. So the marshal that you're like being offered like the honor guard role for is the commander of the entire militia that's stationed here at Capstone. Furthermore, she's also the commander of the troops at Kalen, which is part of the problem. If you remember a couple sessions ago, we talked a lot about how like essentially everything here is stretched thin. So like she is simultaneously the commander of like the main army and also of the backup army. And so it's Skabosh is from Capstone, so she's pretty on the ball on all this. But essentially she splits her time each month among the garrisons. So she's usually in Capstone from the 1st through the 20th, and then she usually travels to Kalen to check on the garrison and the training and whatnot there from the 20th through the 30th, and then comes back.
So no pressure or anything, but there's really not anyone that can replace this person. They're the
Oh,
only
it's an
one that can do
escort
the back and
quest.
forth.
Oda says she probably has a horse.
Let's hope that this escort quest isn't an NPC that walks at half the speed of smell like the dwarves do in EQ.
I mean, if that's
Yeah,
the case,
request
they walk the
escort
same
quests are
speed
so
I do.
brutal. So yeah, you don't have to decide that tonight in character or out of character. I think that's a good spot for us to leave off, but you can contemplate whether or not you want to do that. It is worth noting that is essentially the exact opposite direction from the Ruins of Old Capstone, which you've also had some hints at. So I'll let you guys kind of discuss amongst each other in the group chat what we want to do there. It's not necessarily that they can't both be done, but
Well, that wouldn't be until the 20th, right?
exactly, yeah. So there are 7 days between now and then, so you might be able to accomplish both. Or if there's something else you want to try and do, I mean, you've met several NPCs. You could check back in with Ava. There, you could just try and like take another quest to go and make some more money. I mean, you have plenty of options, but that's your two main choices probably are those two.
Some written notes that I have, Pixie or Skabashi, is that the orcs are also southwest, which is sort of, I know that the tower is southeast, but southwest is the orcs.
That's true.
Flip flop those two. The tower is southwest, and the orcs are kind of just broadly in the south, but tend to be a little more southeast.
Well, there's no reason we can't at some point do both.
Yeah, no, and you touched right on it, right? There's 7 days in between, and I'd have to go and actually like measure it or whatever, but it's probably 2 days or so to the ruins each direction, so like you have time. I just wanted to kind of like lay it out there. Thank you all for hanging out. That was interesting. I definitely didn't expect to spend quite so much time out in the forest, but it was kind of fun playing through that cat and mouse and letting the party, oftentimes D&D parties end up being about fighting their way through everything. So I very much respect the party's choice to not do that. And I think we have some. I think we had some good character development, some interesting story hooks there. I'm excited to see what they decide to do and when they decide to do it. I think the timeline lines up pretty well. I was a little bit worried with how long they spent out in the wilderness. I was like, oh shoot, this hook of being able to do something on the 20th, they might. Not that I thought they were going to be out there that long, but I was worried that they might not have time to do anything else in between times if they wanted to. So, always a fan of the party having choices and letting them make choices, so I'm excited to see what they're going to do. As far as if you're a YouTube person, it's probably going to be a week until it's up on YouTube, because my goal this time is to up the production value a little bit and go through and edit in some overlays. So although we didn't have any combat, but if we had combat, to go through and like edit in an overlay to show like the current character's health and whatnot. And when we're doing things like rolling for survival and whatnot, to edit in a little overlay to show like what the bonus to the roll is. So it'll take me a little while to get through that, but I think it's going to make the episode that much better to watch. It gives a little bit more context for the rolls that are going on. And my goal is to have that done no later than next Saturday. I'm hoping for Friday, but I just don't know how long that's going to take.